since the last time he got hurt. I think that was 2016, 2017. So he's going through it. He's going through it. That being said, he's still Novak Djokovic, and rusty or not, and even if he's not 100%, Wimbledon playing on grass is the one surface that you can probably play a little bit banged up because it's easier to move on the grass. The points are shorter. The matches are faster. And just to be honest, not to get too far in the weeds here, he's got a very weak quarter, at least on the bottom half. So he is not going to play, he's playing a scrub in the first round, Kopriva. He's going to play two guys who, barely are fringe professional players in the second round. Third round, he might get the 30th seed, Echeverry. That guy's a clay court player. And anybody else that could come through, he should beat them. Round of 16, the highest seeded player is Holger Rune. Again, another clay court player. You've got Khachanov, who's 21 seed. He could face him in the round of 16. He's got a dominant head-to-head record against him. So basically what I'm saying is Djokovic should almost easily get into the quarterfinal. And at that point, he could see two very formidable opponents, the 7 seed Hurkacz, the 9 seed De Minaur. Both would give him a war for sure. But at that point, if he's able to build himself into some form, he's got 2 easy first-round matches. Again, I don't think he's playing the tournament if he doesn't think he can win. He has said that, and I think he's been very honest with himself over these last 2 years. So I'm going to put my money on the idea that I think Djokovic is healthy enough to play, that he's healthy enough if he gets to the quarterfinals, he can win it. And he's Novak freaking Djokovic. You're getting him plus money to get to the semifinals here. So Djokovic plus 100 on BetMGM to win his quarter. And then I'm going to put a little sprinkle there, Shawnee. I'm going to go against everybody's favorite player, Carlos Alcaraz. And I'm going to take, in the quarter that he's in, Tommy Paul to win it at plus 650. It's also a kind of a weak draw. And I think that Tommy Paul, who has beaten Alcaraz a couple of times, has a favorable head-to-head. He has done really, really well on the grass this year. So if you're looking to bet against the big guys, Alcaraz, Sinner, Djokovic, you got a chance to do that here in his section. Tommy Paul is the 12 seed. He would face Alcaraz in the quarterfinals, and I think that bottom part of his section is also pretty weak. The highest seed that he would face in the 4th round is Casper Ruud, another clay court player. So Djokovic plus 100 to win his quarter. And Shawnee, little sprinkle. If you'd like to be betting against Carlos Alcaraz, I think Tommy Paul can win that quarter at plus 650.
All right, Patty Boyle is your tennis connoisseur, the guy you will lean on. We will do more Wimbledon with him throughout this damn thing. All right, we are going to continue our mapping out of BetQL's 5-star weekend. Bronny joins father in L.A. More on that. Some NFL thoughts as we continue to trend towards training camp. It is the final Sunday in June. We have Dingbat coming up next hour with your best MLB home run bets for the day and plenty more. He's Pat Boyle. I'm Sean Morash. It's BetQL's 5-star weekend presented by BetMGM. And when thinking about muscle tears, the best tease I can give you is we'll be back in a meniscus.
BetQL 5-star weekend will be back on the BetQL network. Presented by BetMGM.
Run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've looked at this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
and handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for Wagertainment, the BetQL network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for Wagertainment, the BetQL network presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
and handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for Wagertainment, the BetQL network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets.
Welcome back to BetQL 5-Star Weekend on the BetQL network. Presented by BetMGM.
It's 5-Star Weekend. Let's go. The last Sunday in June. So that means we have a certain type of moon out in the sky. Does it? Not really. I was just looking to rhyme with something stupid, and now everybody is cringed in their car or wherever you're watching us today, listening to us today. All right, NBA draft has come and gone. Obviously, not exactly a loaded draft, to say the least, with familiar names. Odd year to roll out a 2-day draft by ESPN. And let me just start there real quickly. I mean, my goodness. Look, the NBA draft was not necessarily broken the way it had been operating. The second round, this is not the NFL where, 4, 5, 6, 7 rounders, as meaningless as they could be, still end up the starters on teams. I mean, it is difficult to get people invested in that many second round NBA picks. To do it in a day 2 to fill TV time, all right, fine. Why then are you doing it at 4 o'clock? Just go all the way and make it prime time. That was so out of place and so strange. on Thursday. But it did provide us, well, before I say what it provides us with, Pat, any thoughts on that?
Any thoughts on them going 4 o'clock on Thursday?
Yeah, weird. It was just
It
weird.
was weird.
No need to.
It was weird, and I was at a wake, so it was already kind of a weird day for me. And then I'm getting the notifications while I'm yeah, that's all right. Don't worry about it. I'm watching I'm getting the notifications as I'm watching the slideshow of the person who passed away, and then all of a sudden I get the notification that the Lakers have selected Bronny, and I was like, I felt like I was in a bizarro world. I didn't know how to feel. It did feel like a Saturday, but it wasn't a Saturday. So I totally agree with you. We got off to a bit of a rabble rouser start, but we're on the same page now, Shawnee. I thought that the day 2 Thursday late afternoon start was very strange, especially when you consider that like on the West Coast, that's 1-2 o'clock that's going off.
Yeah, in Hawaii even earlier. So that was me knowing time zones. Bronny James ends up, as we're approaching pick 55 to the Lakers, you start getting the reports on Twitter that his agent is threatening teams that are going to draft Bronny that he'll go play in Australia. He won't play for them, which, first of all, I mean, some swerve is a second-round pick to try to pull that power play. You know what? You might ultimately have to play in Australia the moment Daddy retires anyway, so why don't you just go there now? Number 2, I feel gross about the whole Bronny James to the Lakers thing. I feel gross about it. I, in many ways, think that while it's cool as heck what LeBron is trying to do in getting to play professional basketball with his son, like unbelievably cool. I could respect that from a father. But on the flip side, I think it's unbelievably short-sighted, and ultimately LeBron probably ruins any substantial basketball career Bronny probably could have had. There's no reason that Bronny James, after everything he went through health-wise, 1 year in college, should have been a one-and-done player. Just look at it this way. How weak was this draft considered to be? And yet it was still considered a stretch that Bronny James go 55 to the Lakers. That should tell you all you need to know about him as a basketball prospect. Yes, if you get him with Danny Hurley and LeBron, that sounds great. But also, doesn't it kind of also sound like now the entire focus of the 2024-2025 Lakers is about a father and a college-esque head coach teaching a kid who probably shouldn't have been drafted to begin with how to play NBA basketball? That feels like a really weird priority. And I don't know if it does the Lakers any good. It certainly doesn't do LeBron any good. And to me, maybe it ultimately is the right place for Bronny James to learn basketball, I guess, from Danny Hurley. Actually, it's Redick. I'm doing this whole bit, and I forgot they didn't even hire Hurley. It was Redick. Jeez.
That's
what a
correct.
moron.
That's correct.
Even worse. In the back of my head, I'm like, yeah, Hurley, what a stupid take. It's even worse. Excuse me, and I apologize. I don't know why in the back of my mind I thought Hurley had taken that job. I'm an idiot, absolute moron, and so's LeBron. How pathetic.
All right. I mean, we'll let you gather your thoughts there for a second. I'm going to disagree with you here, though. I don't have a problem with it. I really don't. You got the greatest player of our generation, and they're taking it. He's going to have the chance to play with his kid now. That on the surface is pretty cool. We've never seen it. I don't care if you think nepotism plays a part. I don't care if you think Bronny James never had a chance to play in the NBA if not for his dad. Why does everybody gloss over the fact that the kid had a cardiac arrest and his heart literally stopped a year ago, and how battling through that, showing that he can battle through that adversity, that he can come back and then participate in his college basketball season, 2 months later, 3 months later? Like that's one of the most impressive feats we've seen in sports last year, and it just totally got glossed over, totally ignored. The kid's heart literally stopped. Same thing that happened to Christian Eriksen, the soccer player, kind of, similar to what happened with DeMar Hamlin, and we championed DeMar Hamlin for him even being able to step on the field and play. Why did that just get thrown to the wayside by Bronny James? And I'm not saying that if that didn't happen, that he would have been an All-American, that he would have, built himself into being a first-round pick in the NBA draft. But the fact that that just got totally ignored to me, I couldn't understand it. So, yeah, he had
because he wasn't going to be a first-round pick before the health issues. That's why.
We don't know that. We don't know that.
Every outlet had it that way. Every expert had it that way, that he wasn't ready to be a first-round pick. What are you talking about?
How many college basketball players come in as freshmen that we hear a little bit of hype about, and then some of them aren't that good and have to stay? Some of them turn into NBA, lottery draft picks. We don't know what he would have been like. I don't want to care about.
If his name was Gary Applecraft, would he have been drafted in the second round?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, Sean, because I'm going to even go even further. I'm not going to read the 55th, 56th, 57th overall pick from the 2023 draft. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you some guys that were drafted in the early second round, and you tell me if you remember them coming out of college. And I know you and I will both watch a decent
Oh, so
amount
you're
of
gonna
college.
give me the random hits now? You're gonna give me the random. You're gonna give me Nikola Jokic. You could take Nikola Jokic and shove it up your armpit, Pat. I mean, come on, man.
I'm
This
just
is
going
all
to.
about a dad trying to cash some money in his son's pocket and basically have a pawn of posters about a daddy playing with his son. It's ridiculous.
Some people will know these names. Most people won't. You remember Maxwell Lewis coming out of Pepperdine? He was the 40th overall pick. Amari Bailey coming out of UCLA. He was the 41st pick. Ryan Rupert, who played in New Zealand, by the way. But, God forbid somebody takes a flyer on Ryan Rupert, who's out of France, 43rd overall. Like, these picks at the end of these drafts, 90% of the time, they don't even make it to the NBA anyway. And every now and
Right.
then
So
you
how
get
many of
steal.
them? So when Ryan Raycraft, is that who you said? Or Ryan
Ryan
Rupert?
Rupert. Ryan Rupert, who will
When
probably never
Ryan
touch an
Rupert's
NBA
agent
floor.
When Ryan Rupert's agent calls teams and says, "Don't draft me, I'm going to play in Australia. If you do, come back and talk to me." Bronny James's agent should not have been orchestrated. That's nonsense.
Yeah, well, all right, you have a valid point there, but every now and then you get a steal in the last couple of picks of the draft. Last year, the Warriors the Warriors got the trade for 57. They got Trace Jackson Davis. He played a pretty big role for them. So Bronny James is LeBron's son. He has learned, he has grown up watching his dad. He has learned from his dad. And yes, maybe he has not been able to, matriculate that on the floor and be an All-American NBA caliber player just yet. But that doesn't mean that he can't develop with his dad with his dad right there, with JJ Redick, whether you hate him or you're not, the guy knows what he's talking about. I know we all want to see JJ Redick fail, and I that's another thing that has gotten me. I've been pushed so far to the edge that I now hope JJ Redick has success. That I hope the
Well, I
Lakers
agree
have
with that.
success. That I hope
By the way,
Ronnie James. I hope Ronnie James
this-
does well because so many people are just piling on hate after hate after hate for no reason, as if we haven't seen nepotism ever before in life, and also as if guys that get drafted in the last couple of picks of the draft usually ever even matter.
dude, LeBron is now holding the Lakers over a barrel and telling their fans and telling the organization, just to let you know, I'm sticking around here, but my priority is trying to give my son an NBA career. My priority is not winning. LeBron, in every practice, his main focus is going to be teaching his son, because a father can't help that. His main focus is not going to be, how are we beating the San Antonio Spurs and Wembanyama tonight? That's a problem. That is an enormous problem. If Bronny James was more ready-made, that's less of a problem because it's less teaching that has to go into it. LeBron has to go into so much within this year and the next 2 years with Bronny James to even fabricate an NBA career that it is going to take away from the priority of winning basketball games. And if Laker fans are fine with that, if the Lakers are fine with that, so be it. But this is a team not that far removed from an NBA championship, definitely not that far removed from a Western Conference final, and they're completely throwing it out the window. It's a disgrace. I'm with you on JJ Redick, who I completely foobarred because of the stupid mess getting hired. Look, that's no different than Aaron Boone getting the Yankee manager job at a Sunday Night Baseball. Like, that happens. So be it. Sorry that he didn't work his way up the coaching ranks the way everybody likes. I don't really have an issue with that. But I think, tying back to my whole point on Hurley, when I assumed he got hired and I was an idiot, why do you think that there was a big push to hire Hurley? It was for this exact reason, to groom Bronny James. That's what LeBron wanted deep down. He didn't get it. Hurley didn't go. And now we're stuck here with this, with JJ Redick. It's going to be a mess, and it's not right to Laker fans. It's not right at all.
Do you think that the Lakers wanted to hire Dan Hurley solely for the reason that he could develop Bronny James, or do you think they wanted to hire Dan Hurley because he's proven that he's a winner and he's won back-to-back national championships?
Well, can multiple things be true? He came out of nowhere. Why? Because LeBron went to them, because LeBron runs any organization he's on, and they knew they were going to end up with Bronny James 55 overall. They want to keep LeBron, and LeBron said, let's make a push to hire Dan. Give him what he wants. He'd be the perfect guy to help my kid. And now LeBron's going to take on all the coaching of his kid. It's stupid, dude. Come on. Yeah.
I disagree. I think there's been picks that have been taken at the end of drafts that are again, we'll never talk about the 55th overall pick in the draft again unless it turns out to be an all-NBA player. Again, should everybody be fired for not drafting Nikola Jokic in the first round or in the top 20, whenever the hell he went?
No.
So, I mean, we're really going to get up in arms about Bronny James getting drafted because, yes, it is nepotism, but like it's the 55th pick. I can understand if they took him with the 17th pick. And I just think people are getting too carried away with Rich Paul reportedly telling GMs, don't draft Bronny or he's going to go play in Australia. I don't think these GMs were going to draft him anyway. What is the point? And what a waste. Like, what does that say about a GM from any of the other 30, 31 NBA teams? That if everybody collectively, like you said, didn't think that Bronny James was an NBA caliber player, why even waste a pick on him? What are you going to try? They're going to try to hold him hostage and hope that LeBron, like the Phoenix Suns, are going to draft Bronny and hope that LeBron
that becomes about ticket sales. You hope that LeBron decides to come play with you to play with his son. It's all a pawn. It's like the circus. It's like Jackie Moon running the Tropic Thunder.
But why would a GM? How could you waste a pick on Bronny James if you're not even guaranteed that LeBron is even going to then come to your team?
Because you hope that he will. You hope that he decides, just like this happened. Why would they force the hand then if LeBron didn't want to make sure he played with him? I mean, come on, dude. Wake up. Smell the roses. All right, as we head towards the fall, I want to ask you, we keep talking about picks. Better item to pick, an apple or a pumpkin? Go.
Pumpkin. I mean, I could get an apple anywhere.
I'm with you.
You pick a pumpkin, that turns into then all the activities that comes with getting a pumpkin, carving it into a jack-o'-lantern, doing, the activities for you with your kiddies. For me, it's with my nephews. You pick an apple, sick. You're just going to eat it. Like, what? Apple picking. What a dumb, stupid idea. If you're going there and then they have a little shop where you can get like cider donuts and stuff like that, I guess that makes it worth it. But just going to pick apples, like, you're a loser. You're an idiot.
I did not expect that answer from you, Pat. Pat, you felt like highfalutin. I'm going to pick my apples. I'm going to get my bushel, my Granny Smiths, and I'm going to take them home, and I'm going to make my pie, and then I'm going to chop them up. Oh, have you ever dipped an apple in peanut butter? Let me tell you, blow your mind. I thought you were going to be one of those guys. I'm with you. You pick a pumpkin. You go home, you carve that jack-o'-lantern. You smell like pumpkin. You take the seeds, you put them in the oven. Picking pumpkins, a better fall activity than picking apples. You're damn right. I am shocked by that, Pat. I'm shocked. Favorite kind of apple?
Granny Smith. The green, right?
Yeah,
That's the
green.
Granny Smith.
Yeah, you always go green, right? They say they want us to go green in this country. Why don't we think about it with apples, right?
It's the most flavorful, crisp apple. You ever bite into a Granny Smith? It doesn't compare to biting into a Macintosh or I don't even know the other types of apples. I don't even see yellow apples anymore. It's
Honey Crisp.
Honey Crisp?
Yeah, well, no, yellow apples are pears.
I don't think though. I don't think that's the case. I think that's wrong.
Pears
are pears. Yellow apples are yellow apples. Are yellow apples?
No, I think a pear is a type of apple.
No, it's not.
Yeah, just look that up real quick. Yes, look it up. I'd bet here on BetQL, a DGen bet, that a pear is an apple.
Are pears basically apples? There's a reason why when people make comparisons, the phrase is apples and oranges and not apples and pears. Apples and pears are actually closely related and share many similarities.
Thank you. Thank you. A pear is an apple. Told you. It was apparent I was going to be right.
Oh, my God. No, dude. Just because they're similar, we are similar to monkeys. Does that mean that we're monkeys? No, they're similar to us in our DNA makeup.
I'm not touching that one with a 10-foot pole.
I don't know what to tell you. Apples are not pears. They are two totally different fruits. And there's yellow apples and then there's pears. They're not the same.
Okay. I mean, we're going to agree to disagree. We didn't even get to the NFL take we were going to have, but we could do that next as well. Who has the most to prove quarterback-wise in the NFL and will that affect any futures bets you have this year? Are pears apples? Are apples pears? What would you rather pick? A pumpkin, an apple, or a nose? We cover it all here after arguing about nepotism and Bronny James. It's BetQL's 5-Star Weekend presented by BetMGM. He's Pat Boyle. I'm Sean Morash. No glasses on me. Odd glasses on Pat. Twitch.tv/BetQL. We continue next.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
With the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday after. BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
and handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
and handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at this
say.
over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you.
Welcome back to BetQL 5-Star Weekend on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
BetQL's 5-Star Weekend, presented by BetMGM. Generally speaking, when it comes to food, I'm a bit of a phase guy, Pat. You and I both sharing a little breakfast over that commercial break. I'm a bit of a phase guy. During the week, I'm this might shock you, you might roll your eyes, pretty regimented about what I eat, what goes into my body. The weekend tends to be, I think most people can relate to this, a bit of a free-for-all. Things happen, eating at different times. Whatever you're eating can be unhealthy. But my kids, they're into the cereal now, okay? They weren't into the cereal, now they're into the cereal. So we mix and match, we do some things. My wife, with the unsweetened almond milk, has given me a cereal for 2 straight mornings that I've had. I think I'm going to be in a phase now. Cereal I had heard of. Cereal I think is famous. But a cereal that I got to be honest, very tasty. Honey Bunches of Oats. Ever have?
I have, and they are very, very good. Now, I prefer the more sugary substitute, a little bit more fattening substitute to Honey Bunches of Oats. Have you ever heard of Honey Smacks?
No, I've
serious.
only watched
That's the one with the frog on it, right? With the frog on the box. I think it's red. It's a red box with the frog. He's got a backwards hat. He's giving you the bowl like, eat this, bro. Eat this right now. Get this goodness inside of you. Honey Smacks. Delicious. That was I am a big phase guy too when it comes to cereals. I don't know about food in general, but definitely cereals. And I don't eat much cereal anymore, but between the ages of 10 and 18, every single morning for breakfast, sometimes coming home from school, sometimes at night, need a little bowl of cereal to help you sleep well. Honey Smacks were a top. It was top of my list for a good couple of months one summer. But yes, Honey Bunches of Oats, very, very good. I remember the commercials with the ladies in the factory telling you about how good it was.
I don't remember those commercials at all, but I'm glad you do. Now, you had a breakfast take for me as well?
Yeah, well, I was going to ask you because they're on our station in WFAN in New York, so I don't know if you had stumbled upon them. In the back office, especially too, where the salespeople are. I got a life question for you. After I ask you about the granola bars, it's all basically energy drinks and granola bars. I just had a peanut butter and jelly granola bar. It's kind of good. I mean, the peanut butter was there. I was wondering how they were going to get the jelly in there because it's got to be some kind of preservative, hardened jelly flavor, right? You can't just put actual jelly inside of a granola bar that's going to sit there for however long. It was okay. It was pretty good. But peanut butter and jelly granola bar. But I wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, I love peanut butter and jelly in general. I think it's such an iconic duo. Look, and it must be jelly because jam don't shake like that. I think it's tremendous. So anything but peanut butter and jelly, I am in on. I am a peanut butter guy. I order unique antique peanut butters that come to my house, and I put them on rice cakes often. Sometimes they have like the jelly chips in them. I'm very big on that.
Unique antique peanut butters.
Yeah, like they're homemade. They ship them.
I remember you were geeking out about them. One of the first shows that we did, you're like, "Oh, I just ordered more my peanut butter oils or whatever the hell they're called."
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to get to? Should we talk some sports and gambling?
Well, yeah, just really quickly too. What do you feel about if it's in the radio station and it's not labeled and it's like a box of granola bars or a box of energy drinks? That's fair game, right? Even if it's on somebody's desk.
Well, if it's on a specific desk or a commutative desk?
Well, I don't know. A lot of those desks for the salespeople, they have a name there, like they have a little name
Then it's
plate.
those people. No, then that's not yours. That's for those people.
Well, hate to break it to Kevin in sales because I devoured 2 of those yesterday, and then there was another desk that had some energy drinks that had somebody's name on, and I had one of those too. So.
Well, yeah, then they could decide to go to work more than just Wednesdays, and that'd be fine. Okay. Now, let's do a little look ahead to football. With football and with futures go quarterbacks, and it is going to be a very big year for quarterbacks, whether it's MVP voting, whether it's guys who, need to prove their worth. So we wanted to have a little quarterback discussion here. The quarterbacks that have the most to prove. All right. We have a little list here. Pat Boyle's put together a little list. Okay. Pat, you know what? Give me your list because I didn't write my list down in this rundown. Okay?
Yeah. Do you want 5 through 1? Do you want me to write them all
Yes,
off?
I think that's fine.
Kind of go
I think
quarterback
that's
to
fine.
quarterback?
No, I think that's fine.
So you want me to give you all 5?
Go ahead. Yep.
Okay. Number 5, I've got Justin Herbert. It's just I'm sick of all the praise and there was a lot of people hating on Justin Herbert for the last 2 years, and I was like, what are you talking about? He's great. He doesn't have a head coach, doesn't have a defense. Well, there's no more excuses anymore. There is no more excuses. Now you've got a proven winner in Jimmy Harbaugh. And yeah, you know what? Because you're going to hear excuses made for Justin Herbert. Oh, well, he doesn't even have Mike Williams and Keenan Allen anymore. He's got to do it all on his own. Now he's only got Joshua Palmer and Quentin Johnston and running backs that can't stay healthy. I don't care. If Justin Herbert is as good as we thought he was, and he has shown numerous times, he's got a probably top 3 arm in football in terms of the strength. He's getting paid 5 years, $262.5 million, right? He just got that contract last month. And for a guy whose career numbers, he usually falls between, last year he got hurt, but he's normally, between 46 and 5,000, 4,600, 5,000 yards. He went back-to-back years of 30 touchdowns or more. He's proven he can run them in. I mean, there's no more excuses for Justin Herbert. Yeah. Now, again, that being said, if they don't have a good year, there are excuses built into him. It's year 1 under Jim Harbaugh. Like I said, he doesn't have receivers. But I need to see Justin Herbert win some football games, man, and stop being a perennial 500 quarterback. So he's number 5 for me. 4th quarterback with the most to prove this year, Jordan Love. Now, I was one of the biggest Jordan Love haters going into last year. He proved me and a lot of people wrong. Now he's got to back it up. Now he has to back it up here because now you're one of the top MVP odds getters, right? MVP award, Jordan Love. Right now I'm looking at this graphic. He has 6, that plus 1,400. That is very, very high praise for a guy who definitely earned a lot of that praise last year. But, again, I don't want to hear if Christian Watson's got a hamstring strain or if Romeo Doubs isn't healthy. I don't want to hear the excuses built in for Jordan Love. That NFC North, outside of the Lions, I mean, they can challenge the Lions for the NFC North, 1, and they absolutely better be a playoff team. So, okay, Jordan Love had to wait behind Aaron Rodgers, had to bide his time. He got a lot of people clowning on him, including me, and then he was literally one of the best quarterbacks in football for the final month and a half of the season. He needs to prove it wasn't a fluke, so he's got the 4th most to prove. He's got to back up the second half of last season. 3rd quarterback with the most to prove. I got a little tie here. I'm going to go C.J. Stroud and Trevor Lawrence. If you don't know my thoughts on Trevor Lawrence, if you don't know my thoughts by Trevor Lawrence on now, Sean, I think you do. I think he is rapidly approaching Jamarcus Russell territory. Now, let me again clarify, because every time I say this, I get people, what are you talking about? Jamarcus Russell didn't even play 4 years in the NFL. By the way, sad story with him. He's getting a lawsuit thrown his way because apparently he allegedly took a $74,000 donation check and pocketed it himself for the high school football team he was coaching. Or he was a volunteer assistant coach at his old high school team. Yeah. But what I mean with Trevor Lawrence is we saw him at Clemson, and for 2 years going into the draft, it was tank for Trevor. He's the next Peyton Manning. He's the next Andrew Luck, right? He was a can't miss, surefire top 5 quarterback in football. He was going to be competing for Super Bowls, and he's probably the 7th or 8th best quarterback in the AFC. He immediately fell behind the likes of Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. Justin Herbert, I would say, is a better quarterback than Trevor Lawrence, and they went head-to-head in that playoff game, and they came back from 27-0. But for the first year and a half, it was Urban Meyer. Then Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson fixed him. Trevor Lawrence was great, and now he's been a turnover machine for basically the last year and a half. And the fact that, and I know he got hurt last year as well, but the fact that they missed the playoffs, a division they should have cakewalked their way to a win. And Trevor Lawrence also, very big bag just a month ago here. Very big contract. 5 years, $275 million. He's the highest paid quarterback in football that matches Joe Burrow. Enough with Trevor Lawrence hearing about how he's going to be so great for his entire career. He has proven nothing so far, and he's actually regressed from year 2 when he was actually pretty good and gave the Chiefs a good fight in that playoff game. Yeah. And then I'll go C.J. Stroud because on the flip side, C.J. Stroud overtook Trevor Lawrence. Now, everybody thinks C.J. Stroud is one of the best quarterbacks in football. He's 4th lowest odds, fourth shortest odds to win the MVP. So he's got to prove that last year wasn't just a fluke. And now he's getting Tank Dell back, a healthy Tank Dell. They got a lot of weapons. They added Stephon Diggs. There's really no reason why C.J. Stroud shouldn't be a top 5 quarterback in football this year, but it's a lot to prove. Do we see a sophomore slump? Number 2, Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold with the Minnesota Vikings because he's got J.J. McCarthy breathing down his neck. You know Kevin O'Connell is looking for a reason to give J.J. McCarthy that job. And when you have Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and T.J. Hawkinson, Sam Darnold the last couple of years, we kind of got off of crapping on Sam Darnold because he was in the back pocket of San Francisco and he's Brock Purdy's backup and he looked good in the couple of flashes that we saw him. So now everybody's like, oh yeah, Sam Darnold's good now. He better prove it. No more seeing ghosts. You've got the best receiver in football. You've got a hell of an offense to work with. There should be no reason why J.J. McCarthy gets on the field this year because Sam Darnold should be the starting quarterback for most of that season. And finally, number 1, and it's pretty obvious, Joe Burrow with the Bengals. This guy beat Patrick Mahomes, went to a Super Bowl. He hasn't been able to stay healthy the last 2 years. He's always hurt in training camp. He's back. He's got Jamar Chase. He's got T. Higgins. That team, we know that they're a Super Bowl contender. It's time for Joe Burrow to remind everybody why we labeled him as one of the best quarterbacks in football in the first place.
I love that list, Pat. Look, Joe Burrow, I'll just say this about that. I'm going to give my list after Hot Takes on Hot Cakes next hour. I think that if you want to call it pressure, and that's why there's the most to prove here for Joe Burrow, that's fine. Joe Burrow, to me, is the second best quarterback in football behind Patrick Mahomes when healthy, but it's time for him to fully have a healthy year here again and get rolling. And I believe that the Bengals will be the biggest threat to the Kansas City Chiefs at repeating as AFC champions there and getting back. But you're right. It's time for him to spill the tea with Higgins and what could be his last year with the Cincinnati Bengals. We will have hot takes and hot cakes coming up next at the top of the hour, and I will give you my top 5, which, by the way, I don't think I have one crossover. I think I have 5 completely different quarterbacks when I'm looking at my list compared to your list.
How about that?
Which makes for good conversation. It's BetQL's 5-Star Weekend. Sean Morris, Pat Boyle, continues next.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM.
Baseball is winning on the BetQL network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
and handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue Jays run line here, Cody, I might tease it up to an alternate run line of -2.5.
Join the chaos every Saturday from noon to 4 Eastern.
Can you explain to me how these are the same odds? Can someone please explain to me how these are the same odds?
Exactly what I was
I've
gonna
looked at
say.
this over and over and over again.
On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network. Presented by BetMGM.
Are you ready for the most interactive sports gambling show? Introducing BetQL's Send It In with PJ Glasser. We want to hear from you. Send It In is about your picks, your trends, and your fades. Share your thoughts, predictions, and your best daily best bets with the Send It In community. Set your reminders, mark your calendars, and get ready to send it in on weekday afternoons at 1 Eastern on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. On your home for wagertainment, the BetQL network, presented by BetMGM.
Service starts now. With Sean Marash
I will punch you in your stupid face, and I hate the Knicks. I hate their fans.
and Pat Boyle.
That's probably why I'm not a GM in the NFL. But if I was, I would probably take a huge swing on Michael Penix.
Turning your faith into fortune.
Few things in the gambling world I can't wait to bet more than the Jets under right now.
While serving up hot cakes and hot takes.
If Chet Holmgren was on that team, he's probably putting up better numbers than Wemby.
It's BetQL 5-Star Weekend, presented by BetMGM.
Everybody, good morning to you, everybody. It's Sean Morash. He's Pat Boyle. 5-Star Weekend presented by BetMGM. The last Sunday in June. The June swoon is over. Fireworks for the 4th of July this week. And you know what happens after the 4th of July? Snaps by, snaps by. Summer goes by. Next thing you know, you're knee deep in oohing queso cheese, wondering how on earth you can't get the over on 4.5 catches with CeeDee Lamb done by the first half. That's exactly what's right around the corner for all of us listening, and I'm looking forward to it. I am definitely looking forward to it. We are going to do plenty more in the football world as we look ahead. By the way, I'm already jonesing. We are 9 weeks away from Labor Day weekend, college football week 1. The idea that we're getting Clemson and Georgia at noon on that Saturday into a Miami-Florida game, into a Notre Dame-Texas A&M game. Whew. You want to call me Shawnee Benders. Boy, oh boy, will I be on one by the time Notre Dame and Texas A&M kick off. Boy,
Is that right?
Yes.
And that's Labor Day weekend, right? I think I might have just missed you say
That's
that.
Labor Day Saturday. Clemson,
Ooh.
Georgia at noon.
That's a big guzzle weekend for you. That's where you really pour it back.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait. Blindly betting on whatever Dabo Swinney is trotting out there this year. Blindly betting on it. I can't wait. To give BetMGM all my money that I made this summer.
But hold on. You're skipping summer. We haven't even gotten to July 4th, and you're already talking about
I know.
fall. Don't do that.
And July 4th is my favorite holiday.
Yeah,
No, because I'm just talking about from a gambling sports perspective. I love the summer. The summer's my favorite season. I don't want it to go away. I want to be just moobs out in the pool for months on end. I'm ready to go. But I have a duty here to the audience because football is always going to be top of mind now that we've really, really closed the book on the NHL and NBA seasons. That's all. Don't get all twisted. Okay.
My panties are twisted here because you're already trying to get to September. We haven't even gotten to July yet.
Let me also say this before we get the hot takes and hot cakes on the 4th of July. I am so thrilled that fraudulent scum Joey Chestnut is not going to be gracing us with his presence at the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. Number one, full disclosure, not a good dude, money-hungry pig. When I had him up in studio on the DA show on CBS Sports Radio years ago, he is not the hero that every American thinks. Once you meet him, they say don't meet your heroes. The rare athlete that you meet that was not a good dude. That's number one. Number two, it's been, 15 years of it? I am so happy that we get fresh blood in this it's the most I've looked forward to watching a hot dog eating contest in forever. I can't wait to see what the fresh blood has and see who our new champion is going to be, Pat.
Yeah, well, you have a little personal vendetta with Joey Chestnut because, like you said,
such a not a good guy. That's all I will tell the audience.
You guys had him on the show, and he refused to eat a single hot dog, right?
After him and his agency agreed to it and brought the hot dogs, then he sandbagged them live on air and said he never agreed to it, and then said he would never put another hot dog in his body the day before the contest as SportsCenter was on, and we saw him eating it on set in Bristol that day. So he flat out got caught in a lie, and when we pointed at the TV, he stumbled and bumbled back like Aaron Rodgers will behind a Jets offensive line this year. Okay, bad guy.
Are you going to be watching him versus Kobayashi on Netflix?
I probably will. I'll be rooting for Kobayashi hard. I'll tell you that much.
Kobayashi can't beat him. He can't beat him. So you're going to be watching Joey
agree.
Chestnut win, and you're going to be giving Netflix. I mean, I'm sure you already paid for Netflix, but you're going to be giving them directly your money.
Oh, you see, something in my life changed. I won the war, Pat. I won the war. When Netflix took away password sharing and they stopped let me hack my mother-in-law's, even though she still gets my Max account, I said, I'm not giving Netflix any money. What, to watch more British baking shows? I'm good. I don't need that. I'm out. And almost because I kept pounding that drum on the table, the moment my wife went in for a little phone upgrade, what happened? The Netflix people got on the phone with the T-Mobile people and said, you know that offer, the free, make sure we're giving it to the more ashes, okay? Shawnee's not happy. Shawnee's not going to watch Christmas football. And now I got Netflix on the old arm via T-Mobile for being a customer. So I'm back.
Wow.
There
so
you go.
You beat the system.
With commercials, but, beggars can't be choosers. Yes, I beat the system, and I can't wait to start Bridgerton again next week. Okay, where are we at? Oh, hot takes and hot cakes. Let's do them.
Morning, people. Boy, do I need some hot takes and hot cakes. Pat Boyle and Sean Marash, give it to them.
What do you got, Pat?
Yeah, I got a take for you. After watching another game at the European Championships, I'm a big soccer guy as well. After watching another game get ruined by VAR, video assistant referee, which is what they call basically their instant replay, watching another soccer game get ruined by it, it's become abundantly clear, and I've always been the guy that says, you know what, it's better. Imagine going back to the days where you couldn't see a blatant flop or you couldn't see a blatant ball that got dropped on the turf that was ruled a catch that wasn't a catch, or an umpire. Like, imagine if we had Armando Galarraga throws a perfect game if we had instant replay. That being so, I'm for it. But that being said, we have jumped the shark on referee-assisted technology in sports. We have gone too far to the extreme. It is ruining sports. And I don't want to be that old man yells at
ruining it.
We didn't?
No,
You're disagreeing?
I agree with you.
Yeah, it has. We've jumped the shark. It has ruined sports. I mean, yesterday, the VAR and Euros and this entire tournament has been utterly atrocious and a sham. Denmark versus Germany, really good game for the first half. Second half, Denmark gets a goal, and it gets ruled out because of offsides, because we are literally, the offside technology has gotten so robotic and so precise. The tip of the guy's cleat was offside, and he wasn't advancing forward. He was just basically standing stationary. He was literally offside by a centimeter. Nope, offside, no goal. And then not even 2 minutes later, Germany gets gifted a penalty because of a handball that was the most marginal handball I've ever seen. It was on the edge of the box, a cross that grazes the guy's top of the hand, changes direction a little bit, sure, but it wasn't a threatening cross. It's not like Germany had guys wide open in the box, and now all of a sudden, we go to the rules analysts. These guys are the biggest frauds in sports. The rules analyst, oh, you can see there, this new little monitor we have. Look, the chip in the ball detects a movement on the hand. Yeah, we can all see it. We can all see it. But how about we be a little bit human and realize that it didn't really dramatically affect the play at all? I can understand if it's a shot on goal and you got a defender that's got his hand down and hits his hand. Okay, yes, handball for sure. But on a game that's tied, where you just took away a goal moments ago for something that is literally so minuscule that it should have been a goal, and then you give a penalty on a marginal handball on the edge of the box on a cross that wasn't threatening, that wasn't a threatening attack. Oh, no, we got to give Germany a penalty because the little heartbeat monitor in the chip, the ball, that it says so. That's why we have to listen to technology. We can't be humans and make our own decisions and take into account context of the game. It has ruined sports for me. Same thing, yesterday, baseball. We've tried to speed up the pace of baseball. I understand baseball is a little bit slower. Yesterday, I'm watching the Mets game. They go to the replay center because they forgot the count. Oh, we don't know if that's ball 4 or if it's 3-2. Let's go to the replay center and make sure and waste a minute and a half, 2 minutes because we don't know the count. Oh, the 4 umpires, nobody knew the freaking count. So we got to go to the replay center. Hold on there, guys. We got to make sure we get this right. Pay attention. Pay attention. That's what we're using instant replay for now. The NFL's garbage a few years ago, being able to challenge pass interference. 50% of catches that are challenged could go either way. You could challenge pass interference, but then they never called it. And the NFL's gotten a lot better. They have. I like when they do the booth assisted replay where you basically get a call overturned without having to do without the referee having to go to the monitor. Those are instances, yes, it's a clear missed call on the field. We saw it right away. We have thousands of monitors and thousands of angles. Let's phone down to the ref on the field. Let's overturn that call. Okay, good. But for the most part, there are still way too many instances where the game gets ruined and you ruin the flow of the game. Basketball is one of the worst too. The amount of time that it takes in the final 2 minutes. Did it take the slightest graze off the guy's hand? Can we see, now you can challenge foul calls, foul calls that are 50-50. Oh, well, there was a slight hand in the back. You can see it didn't go straight. We shouldn't be wasting 3, 4, 5 minutes on stuff like this. And then the thing I hate too with the NBA is you can challenge a foul call and there could be a missed call right before that foul. But we can't overturn that because you can only challenge the foul call. Even though we missed the ball going out of bounds right before that, we can't get it right. We can't be humans. We have to listen to the technology and we have to follow the rules. It is such garbage how much video-assisted technology and referee-assisted technology has ruined sports. And again, I'm all in favor of getting the right call, but we have gone to the extreme, and it is ruining games. And it's sickening. It's atrocious to watch because that soccer game yesterday was a great game, and it should have been tied. It should have been 1-1 at worst. You give Denmark that goal, okay, then I can understand the handball. But to cancel out one and give the other for both things that were so minuscule and marginal, it ruined the game.
Everything else all right?
No. I'm pissed off.
I'm with you. By the way, this needs to always be reiterated when talking about video refereeing and everything. Refereeing always stunk. Okay, this isn't a case of 2015, 2020, 2024. Newsflash, umpiring and refereeing stunk in 1960. It stunk in 1970. You know what changed? Technology, zoomed in looks, everything. We are more keen to be aware of how awful calls are today because we have more looks at it than we ever did. It wasn't like the people doing the job got worse. So it makes me really wonder, you really want to go down a rabbit hole? Just think about what we don't even know. How many championships are not won or reversed because of playoff moments or something else that could have been changed by moments in games that we were completely unaware of could be changed due to replay? How about that?
Say that one more time.
Okay. If you want to think about replay, all right, would you agree? Let's just go really easy. Technology has changed forever and ever and ever. when we see all these looks now that we get on at home, we are so quick to say a referee stinks or how bad his officials because we see how different the call could be, right? You agree with
Mhm.
that? All right. We did not have that technology for the most part in the 80s to 70s, 60s, earlier than that. Whatever camera shots we got, we got. My point is, had replay been prevalent, video assistant replay been prevalent in all of those decades, there is undoubtedly to me championship seasons that would have been altered, playoff games completely changed by calls that we're unaware of were even bad calls to this day.
Yeah. Okay. I agree.
How
But that doesn't
crazy is
mean
that?
that we've gone too far and that we've gone to the extreme with instant replay and that it is ruining games, it's ruining the flow, and that we're being so precise with some of the rules that we have to apply that like just be a human. Be a human and have discretion.
Okay, I agree. I completely agree. And it was not a Dez catch. So that's neither here nor there. Okay, my hot take for this hour. I believe we are about to embark on the final season as a Dallas Cowboy for one Micah Parsons. Okay? I have heard rumblings through some people I know down in Dallas that they are getting awfully tired of the Micah Parsons act. And if that wasn't prevalent, it certainly became so when Malik Hooker, Cowboy teammate, went after Micah Parsons, ironically on a podcast about Micah Parsons' devotion to his podcast. And this was the quote: "My advice for Micah would be to just make sure we're all right. Because if we're at work and the run game's terrible, but you're doing a podcast every week and you know the run game is terrible, then what are you really caring about? Are you caring about the crowd that was watching the podcast, or are you caring about the success of a team and the Super Bowl that we're trying to reach?" Micah Parsons was very upset by this, said that Malik Hooker should have came to him in person. I think there is a groundswell of people in Dallas in that locker room who understand that Micah Parsons is great, but Micah Parsons has come across like a complete zero the last two postseasons for Dallas. And I think that as money gets allotted at the end of this year, and if the Cowboys are going to keep Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb is going to need to get paid as well, I think that the Micah Parsons project, if you will, in Dallas, as dominant as he's been, I think it's going to run its course. And I think you're going to see the last year of Micah Parsons playing football in Dallas. And I would not be shocked if there's some significant locker room issues this year for the Cowboys.
Wow. So the on-field production, what is it? 40 sacks in 3 years for Micah
Unbelievable.
Parsons?
Yeah, he's been unbelievable.
You're telling me that's not worth any distract? And what distraction does he cause? It just sounds like Malik Hooker and
Well,
some
the
of these other
podcast
guys.
stuff. Well, I would say there's several people within Dallas who think the organization just wants Micah Parsons basically to shut up every week. He's always commenting on other teams and everything else, and they're not happy with his playoff performance. So I'll just leave it at that. Leave it at that.
Not happy with his playoff performance. How about, the defense as a whole got shredded, the secondary got shredded, the coaching staff is unprepared
hasn't wrecked
unprepared every January. The offense can't move the ball. They can't convert. Again, I understand that he definitely talks too much and his podcast is annoying and he has to have a comment and everything. Does Micah Parsons show up every Sunday when it matters? Does he show up on the field and perform?
We do. And we continue to talk football next. BetQL's 5-Star Weekend.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend. We'll be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM. Baseball is winning on the BetQL Network with Bet for the Cycle featuring Cody Decker.
Cody Decker, former professional baseball player, turned professional smartass on the radio.
And handicapper Rob Brown.
Couldn't hit a baseball off a high school pitcher. That's why I played soccer.
Double plays, props, and parlays.
Not only Blue
5-Star Weekend on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
5-Star Weekend presented by BetMGM. Sean Morash and Pat Boyle. I'm going to give you the 5 quarterbacks I think are under the most pressure coming up in just a moment. But just to tidy a little bow on Micah Parsons and whether this will be his last year with the Cowboys as he's seemingly ticking off teammates left and right. He is, I think, at plus 520 right up there with TJ Watt, Defensive Player of the Year. Would you vote or would you bet? Would you vote? Would you bet on Micah Parsons, Defensive Player of the Year, plus 550?
Yeah, I would. Because he's proven it every single year, no matter who else the Cowboys have on that front four and the linebackers they have, or, what was it, Deron Bland, can go for 6 pick sixes. Like, Micah Parsons is going to get his sacks. Even if they try to double team him, he's still going to be a force. He's still going to be a disruptor. And the amount of fumbles that he causes, yes, I would bet him. I don't know if I'm going to, but I think it is worth a bet. I think that market, the shortest odds, he's tied with Watt, with TJ Watt.
By the way, our graphic right now, if you're watching on Twitch, says Trent Jordan Watt.
Yeah, that threw me off.
I was this minute years old when I knew that TJ Watt was named Trent Jordan.
Same here. I just thought it was TJ. Like, in the Watt family, like, it wouldn't surprise me if they legally named him TJ and that was his legal name and that it didn't stand for anything, just TJ. There's nobody that disrupts the game as consistently as Micah Parsons does. Myles Garrett, yeah, kind of. But then you add on the forced fumbles that Micah Parsons causes every single year. Crosby has a couple of games where he can go quiet and then he'll have a 2 or 3 sack game. Same thing with Bosa. So yeah, again, Michael Parsons has done it every single year. So yeah, I would bet him.
Okay. Now, Pat Boyle last hour, if you're just joining us, gave his 5 quarterbacks with the most to prove. All right. To run down Pat's list, it was Justin Herbert, then it was Jordan Love. Then he threw us a CJ Stroud tied with Trevor Lawrence deal, a little bit of a cop-out. Then he gave us a Sammy Darnold into a Joe Burrow. Obviously, look, when it comes to Pat Boyle, a lot of holes there. We got to take it with what it's worth with Pat. He's not as in-depth as me when it comes to this kind of stuff. So that was his list. I don't have a single crossover. What's the problem? You making a face?
What are you talking about?
What do you
because mean? I said that CJ Stroud and Trevor Lawrence were a tie because they're both in the same division and they're going in opposite directions. That really that flummoxed you? That ruins the list for you? Now I don't know as much. I don't know ball like you do, Sean.
Pick one. You know what I mean? Pick one. Put it this way. If I'm Nick Saban, you're coaching Hofstra, all right? When it comes to talking ball, all right? I'm going to give you my 5 now, the quarterbacks with the most to prove. All right. I was asked to coach once. I said, no, the money wasn't worth it. All right. Here we go. Number 5 for me. Pat Boyle did have a Vikings quarterback. He had that much right. He had the wrong one. J.J. McCarthy, to me, is number 5. And you might be saying to yourself, well, Fatso, I don't understand why you would put a rookie quarterback as a quarterback with the most to prove. Man, I don't know about you guys. I haven't seen a rookie quarterback come in with that much scrutiny, not be the first overall pick, probably since Johnny Manziel, with how many people were so torn on it. So for the Vikings to take J.J. McCarthy after an offense that was humming with Kirk Cousins and Sam Darnold's ahead of him. Well, first of all, J.J. McCarthy better beat out Sam Darnold to be the quarterback of this team because the whole purpose of taking J.J. McCarthy in the first round was of all of these quarterbacks, he was the most quote-unquote pro-ready to start right away. Also, I mean, whether it's Jordan Addison, of course, Justin Jefferson, how many rookie quarterbacks are going to have the weapons at the disposal the way J.J. McCarthy will? And if this really looks like a truly, truly ugly rookie year in Kevin O'Connell's offense, that is not going to make anybody feel good. And you're going to have Josh Rosen vibes about one and done with J.J. McCarthy with Minnesota. So he has a lot to prove to me. Number 4 for me is Brock Purdy. Look, he's a guy looking to get paid here. I think that we all went into last year with, right, what was our wild thought? Well, is Brock Purdy for real? Is he not? Is he for real? He ends up making a Super Bowl playing great, but Brock Purdy feels like the kind of guy on a great team that's always going to continue to have to prove it. If the Niners now go backwards in the NFC this year for whatever reason, and the offense isn't clicking, who do you think is going to get blamed? I don't know that everybody in America still truly or ever truly believed in Brock Purdy. Even if you come around on him, you watch how quick that ripcord gets pulled if he falters. For me, number 3 is Jalen Hurts. Guys in the chat were talking about it earlier. Chat being the sidebar chat our show has going on with all the producers that do a great job. Jordan Love better MVP odds than Jalen Hurts right now. Something was fundamentally broken at the end of the year with Jalen Hurts and the Eagles and the offense, and obviously not having Shane Steichen there anymore. Something was off. Jalen Hurts can't have another backwards year, and I am very concerned with the Philadelphia Eagles. They are giving me 2011 Dream Team Eagle vibes, and I would be shocked if Jalen Hurts starts to go backwards in his career. Number 2 is Dak Prescott. We talked about it with Micah Parsons. This is a guy looking to get paid. If the Dallas Cowboys are going to pay him or somebody else is going to pay him, it is a monstrous year. Now, Dak Prescott will do enough, I assume, in the regular season to get the Cowboys to the playoffs. But Dak Prescott is the most improved in the postseason more than any other player. Huge, huge spot for Dak. And last but not least, a guy who just got paid. So, just got paid Friday night, feeling bumping. I feel all right. That was an NSYNC song for those who didn't know back in the day. Jared Goff. Jared freaking Goff. You know what's not cute and fun anymore? The Lions, because there's real expectations. People expect them to be right at the top of the NFC with the 49ers and insert the Eagles or Cowboys there or wherever you want to go. There will be people who listen to this show. There will be people that work on this BetQL network that will hold tickets that say Detroit Lions Super Bowl champions. Will there not? Jared Goff is the key to that whole thing. As much as Dan Campbell runs an awesome ship, the defense will be flying. Amon-Ra St. Brown and company. I mean, they got a ton of weapons. Jared Goff, now that he got paid here by the Lions, and now that they've made an NFC Championship game, it's no more, oh, look at this fun redemption by Jared Goff. The Rams didn't want him. No. You're getting paid to be a top 10 quarterback in football. Now you really need to have expectations. You can't be, 21 points the first half. Maybe not going to be enough versus the 49ers. This cannot be a step-back year here for the Lions and Jared Goff. I actually think he's under the most pressure here of any quarterback in football, and we just don't realize it yet. Pat, tear me apart. Here you go.
Yeah, I don't like your list. I think it's very shallow. I think it's a very shallow
list. Because I know
list.
ball and you don't.
What? You don't. You don't. Not with a list like that. Not with a list like that. Let me find your list here again just so I can have it. J.J. McCarthy, he's got a lot to prove. He's not even going to play. What does he have to prove?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is going to play. And if he doesn't play, then that again shows he hasn't proven enough in camp.
Who's going to be the starter of that team?
J.J. McCarthy.
You think so? You think he's QB1 for week 1?
For at least 15 games, yes. Even if it's not week 1, yes, I do.
You think J.J. McCarthy takes over the starting role if not week 1? If they don't name him the starter at a training camp, you think J.J. McCarthy is going to very quickly become the starting quarterback of the Minnesota Vikings?
Otherwise, it was a wasted pick. He was pro-ready. Otherwise, take a Penix and let him develop.
I don't know about that. And if it is Sam Darnold out of the gate, and Sam Darnold's got the Minnesota Vikings at 3-2 through 5 games, and their offense is doing okay, what does J.J. McCarthy have to prove? He's going to be a backup that is, basically he's going to have nothing to prove.
You're wrong. He's playing. No, you're wrong. You're right. It's okay to be wrong, Pat. It's okay to be wrong. You're wrong. And it's okay.
We're going to agree to disagree. I also disagree with Brock Purdy having a lot to prove. He has nothing to prove. The guy
he still has to get paid, dude. He still has to get paid.
The guy almost won the MVP. He's got an offense.
So you fully trust him? You fully trust him?
Yes, I trust him. Yes.
Okay.
It's not.
You watch. He doesn't play good for a couple weeks. How many people are going to go, oh, it's Brock Purdy. He's a 7th-round pick for a reason. That'll happen. Go ahead.
What has he done to make you think otherwise? He's got Christian McCaffrey. He's got Deebo Samuel. I'm not one of these guys that thinks that.
Which is why he has a lot to prove, Pat.
The
Niners haven't won a Super Bowl since 1994. Everybody talks about the Niners like they're kissing grandma's ass. It doesn't matter. They have to eventually win and break through here, and that's on the quarterback. What separates the Niners from the Chiefs, Pat? What separates them? Please tell me. Please indulge.
They didn't win the Super Bowl, but the guy literally...
Quarterback separates them. because one has Patrick Mahomes and the other has Brock Purdy. So the Niners, for everybody who kisses the tuckus to John Lynch and the roster they built, still have gods to show for it. So it's on Brock Purdy.
So they've been to 2 Super Bowls in the last, 4 years, but yet you don't think that John Lynch and the Niners have done a good job?
Win one! You went from Jimmy G to Trey Lance to Brock Purdy. The biggest unknown answer is still the quarterback, and I like Brock Purdy. But listen, if you want to say that he's not under a lot of pressure, of course he is. At some point, the Niners got to win a ring here.
Take a breath. Take a deep breath there. I don't think Brock Purdy has really much to, I don't think he's got much to prove, because I think, again, for a guy that was Mr. Irrelevant, went to a Super Bowl last year. The Niners have a great defense. They've got great weapons. He just needs to go and manage that game.
Manage? He's playing for a contract. Manage.
At the bare minimum, he's got to manage the game, and I think he's done more than that. I think some of those throws he makes over the middle and the tight windows are incredible. I think he's exceptionally smart, and another year under his belt, I think he's going to get even better. So, again, I think you're just doubting these guys more so than saying they got a lot to prove. Jalen Hurts is another one. You think he's going to be who's the scapegoat if the Eagles if they don't perform this year? It's Sirianni.
It'll be Sirianni, but people will turn on Jalen Hurts. They already started to at the end of last year, pal.
Prescott, I don't think he's got anything to prove.
You gave me Sam Darnold in your list. He's not even going to play football this year, you loser.
Prescott shows up and performs in the regular season every year, and then he doesn't perform in the postseason, and everybody blames Jerry Jones and Mike McCarthy. I don't think Dak Prescott even gets that much blame.
What are you, nuts? Dude, you know what? I understand that you like tennis and you're engulfed all year. Put down the rackets and watch a little football, or like pay attention to what's going on in this country, man. Dak Prescott's not under any pressure. What?
And Jared Goff, he's got the most to prove this year. A guy that didn't even
because now he's paid. Now he's paid, and the Lions are not. You watch, the Lions are not some kind of cutesy fun. So there's expectations, pal, and with expectations comes requirement to succeed.
I think my list was better.
Your list stunk. All right, you put 2 guys tied for 3. You gave me 6 people, and you know what I found insane? Somebody put Kyler Murray. You know what? When you play in Arizona, there is no pressure. Sorry, not putting Kyler Murray there. You know who we didn't put on the list? Shame on me. I'm gonna take the loss.
Aaron Rodgers?
Because you're not. How is Aaron Rodgers not on the list? All the guy is talk. The rehab. And none of us have Aaron Rodgers on the most approved. What? So if the Jets go 7-10, he just gets another pass? And you know what? He probably will. That's why Aaron Rodgers doesn't have the most to prove. Because quite frankly, Aaron Rodgers could take meth, switch it with cocaine, or mix it around, put it in an iced tea, and have every Jet fan drink it, and they would, and still tell you it's the most delicious drink on planet Earth, and they weren't drugged. So he doesn't have the most to prove.
And Kenny Henderson just summed it up perfectly in the chat. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer who's 40 years old coming off a torn Achilles. If he's not that great this year, it ain't going to be the end of the world. And yes, he puts himself in front of he puts himself in the media way too much and all political conspiracy theories and all that. But if he doesn't perform this year, are the Jets looking for another quarterback, or are they begging him to come back again next year? They're going to be begging him to come back again next year. Yeah, exactly. Right. And Robert Saleh is going to be fired, and Aaron Rodgers is going to be the one standing when the dust settles. So I don't really think he's got much to prove at all.
So we all agree then the Jets are going to stink then, huh? We all agree? Because we know there's no pressure?
I think they'll probably be 10-7 or 9-8, and it's going to come down to the last 2 games to make a playoff if he stays healthy.
All right. I mean, I think you're out of your mind. I think you're completely out of your mind. But nonetheless, because Jet fans kiss the rump, that's all that matters.
How are you going to tell me that Joe Burrow doesn't have the most to prove though this year? That Jared Goff has more to prove than Joe Burrow.
Well, first of all, Joe Burrow does play in a conference with the Chiefs. Second of all, I fully expect Joe Burrow to either be in an AFC title game or a Super Bowl. It's him and Mahomes. Yeah, I'm not saying he doesn't have a lot to prove. He has to prove he has to stay healthy more than anything. If he stays healthy, the Bengals are going to be fine. Josh Allen has more to prove than Joe Burrow.
Disagree.
Oh, really? Tua doesn't have more to prove than Joe Burrow?
No.
I gotcha. I got Patty in a blender. He doesn't know what to say. I'm right. Kirk Cousins with Michael Penix nipping at his heels doesn't have a lot to prove.
Okay, he's coming off a torn Achilles.
Oh, I gotcha. I gotcha.
You don't
Caleb
have me.
Williams with the expectations and the receivers he has doesn't have more to prove?
No, because his coach is going to get fired if he doesn't.
Oh,
If
I
they don't do
gotcha.
well,
I
you
gotcha.
got to
I
look at the
gotcha.
coach. You got to look at the hot seat level of the coach on that
Anthony
team.
Richardson staying healthy. Colts doesn't have more to prove?
Joe Burrow has seen C.J. Stroud be elevated to the same level he has. You've got three other teams in that division that very well could all finish with a better record than the Cincinnati Bengals this year. And Joe Burrow, a guy that went to the Super Bowl a couple years ago, is now watching his prime pass him by. He's got the most to prove.
Geno Smith, new coach in Seattle, doesn't have more to prove? Oh, I gotcha.
Stop. Geno Smith had a lot to prove last year and 2 years ago, and he did it.
No, he didn't. They didn't make the playoffs last year. And they
got a nice
almost
contract.
collapsed and didn't make it the year before. Yeah. So that was a segment called Shawnee's Right, Pat's Wrong. Dingbat, next.
Our weekend will be back on the BetQL network. Presented by BetMGM. Welcome back to BetQL 5-Star Weekend on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
BetQL's 5-Star Weekend, or as we like to call it, Sean's right, Pat's wrong, for 3 hours every single Sunday, 9 a.m. until noon Eastern. Remember, you can watch us, twitch.tv/BetQL, of course, free on the Odyssey app. Who doesn't like home runs, right? I love home runs. Baseball fans love home runs. When the crack of the bat happens and you look up and you, whoo, it's out of here. That's a sweet feeling at a baseball game. What's even sweeter is when you win cash money on a home run. And every week around this time, we try to do our best to give you a combination of 9 home run plays in a segment we call Dingbat. We went 0 for 9 last week, so you didn't make any cash money. It's going to be Pat Boyle. It's going to be Sean Morash. And it's going to be Kenny Gunnar Henderson with us making the bets. Folks, how we do this, what happened, Pat? What's wrong? You're pointing out something.
No, I had a burp, so I just had to mute my mic there.
All right, so for those of you who've been listening to the show all morning, Pat Boyle got a new microphone. And what I've noticed is he, much like you get a new toy, he's too in love with it. He keeps tapping the mute, the unmute. He cannot help himself. Ooh, look, I can unmute my mic. And it's becoming a real problem. It's becoming ultra distracting, I think, to everybody in the audience.
Is it? It's a nice, by the way, beautiful mic. Very beautiful mic given to me by the company. So thank you to Andrew Williams and BetQL for doing that. Beautiful mic. And
when did you start BetQL 5-Star Weekend?
February.
You got the mic today, huh?
Hey,
great job.
Good things take time. Good things take time. Look, I got the little LED color panel here. I mean, and I can customize it. You're right. This is a beautiful new toy. And you know what? Instead of having to manually move my mouse over to the panel here, pull back the curtain for the folks listening and watching at home and have to click mute, I can just literally tap the top of the mic, bang, and it's muted. It turns a little red, nice little red hue on the LED panel. And there you go. So, yeah, you know what, Sean? If that's distracting me tapping the mic to mute myself, I don't know what to tell you. You need to focus.
All right. Well, let's pop Kenny Gunnar back up here. We got to do a rock, paper, scissors to figure out who gets first pick here. Kenny. That's what he looks like, too, huh? Wow, I wouldn't have pegged that. He actually is handsome. All right. Let's go with a rock, paper, scissors says shoot. You guys, no. Kenny had scissors, Pat had scissors. I go first. Screw yous. Now Pat and Kenny, you go for who goes second. Go
I'll let Kenny go second. How about that?
Wow. All right. You don't like rock, paper, scissors now, huh? Next week, maybe we try 21 fingers.
Yeah, something that the people listening and not watching us on Twitch can't see. They have no idea what's going on. Yeah, sorry that, I'd like to move the show along.
All right, I'm gonna pick somebody none of you guys are picking anyway. I'm taking Matt Chapman at plus 350 to hit.
Wait a minute, we haven't done the imaging for Dingbat yet. We got the people want to hear.
Let's go to Dingbat. Let's go to Dingbat, and then my first.
Who will win? Who will lose? Who will look dumb? It's time for Dingbat with Sean Morash and Pat Boyle on the bet.
All right, Matt Chapman takes on James Paxton today. Chapman is leading the Niners with dingers with 10. By the way, a real crap batting average, 240. The Giants. Whew, I have Brock Purdy on my mind. What are you going to do? Bottom line is this. I just had the stat here. Hold on. I got a better golf game than you. Hold on. Whatever the stat is, I've lost it. I know you swing. I've seen you swing. Chapman leads the Giants in homers. Paxton stinks versus Chapman. That's basically the crux of the stat. There you have at it. Chapman plus 350. Kenny, to you.
Yeah, I'm going to go simple here. I'm going to go Aaron Judge. 31st homer today. Kevin Gausman on the mound. He hasn't hit a home run in the 4-game series against Toronto, I believe. So I'm going to go with Aaron Judge.
And how do the Yankees stop the bleeding? They wrap themselves in some gauze, man.
How about I got something better than that? They're going to have Cole. Garrett's going to have Cole in his stocking today. The Mets are daddy. Go get Vladdy. I'm taking Vlad Guerrero Jr., who has terrorized the Yankees this series. He's hit a home run in 3 straight games, 5 out of his last 6. and 6 out of his last 8. The man is on fire. And you would think, oh, but he's going up against the reigning AL Cy Young Award winner. Garrett Cole ain't going to give a home run. Well, if you watch Garrett Cole's last start, he don't have it right now. The fastball command's not there. He's not throwing his slider as much. He got lit up in his last start. And Vladdy is 10 for 31 lifetime against Garrett Cole with 2 Billy bombs. So I'm going to take the guy that's been red hot, and I think I'm getting good value for it. Vlad Guerrero Jr. plus 450 on BetMGM. I think he takes Cole deep again.
I don't hate that bet. I feel like I could be in a hole here, or we've gone 3 for 3. I'm going Old Yeller. It's Sunday. Let's go to church and practice Christian Yelich with a home run at plus 600 today. He's facing Kyle Hendricks. Hendricks has allowed 11 homers in 14 games this year. And guess what? Yelich in his career already has 2 dingbats off of Hendricks. Give me Yelich to have himself a moment today.
All right. Sean's going with some long shots here. I'm going to go with another one of the home run leaders in the MLB. I'm going to go with Marcell Ozuna from the Braves. We got a game on Roku in about 45 minutes here. It's a Braves Pirates. Marcell Ozuna, the Big Bear from the Braves with a homer today.
How about give me the guy that's got the most home runs in baseball in the month of June? He hit another one yesterday, and I think he continues to terrorize Texas pitching. Anthony Santander from the Baltimore Orioles. I mean, the guy's been on fire. He's got 22 home runs on the year, 13 of them in the month of June, and he goes up, he mashes against lefties, and he gets to hit against good old Andrew Heaney, who still knows how to serve up a couple of meatballs with the best of them. Anthony Santander, plus 300. Again, a guy that went deep yesterday. I'm not shying away from it. I think he goes deep again today on Sunday Night Baseball.
Anthony Santander. He is a meanie. Go get Mr. Feeney. All right. Again, I'm going to go real to just lay up off the glass here. Kyle Freeland on the hill today. Give me Luis Robert plus 350 for the White Sox to go a little yardy here today.
Love that.
Kenny.
All right, I'm going to go. My last pick, Rafi Devers. The Red Sox have gotten demolished by the Padres back-to-back games. He's their best player. I think he's going to come up big for them. I like my guys. Men amongst boys. So, all right.
Men amongst
Rafi
boys.
Devers.
Let's calm down, Kenny. By the way, if the Red Sox don't get
Aaron
a homer
Judge,
from Rafael.
Marcell Ozuna?
Yeah. Well, let me play out the joke here. If the Red Sox don't get a homer from Rafael, their scoreboard might be Devers egged.
I mean, come on, dude. It started out well. These have just been horrendous. These are atrocious puns that you've been throwing out here the last couple of minutes. You're overdoing it.
Am I taking too many shots?
Yes, too many.
Too many. I'm not passing. I'm taking them from beyond the arc. Poor Kenny Gunnar Henderson just trying to have a moment, and I'm just raining all over him with a Devers egg joke.
Totally hijacking it. All right, my final pick. Mets, Astros at Citi Field. I'm going to be honest. I don't know too much about Sean Dubin, but the Mets are going to be maybe smoking some doobies off of him today.
I don't like this bet. I would tell you now. I don't like this bet. I don't think the Mets play today.
Who do you think I'm taking?
Alonso.
Nope. I'll give you one more guess.
Smoking doobies. Jay.
Well, no, I mean the pitcher's name for the Astros is Sean Dubin. So that was the joke.
Dubin. Francisco Alvarez.
Nope, I'm going with Mark Vientos. Vientos, the big third baseman.
They're not going to play the game. They're not going to play the game.
What are you talking about? It's supposed to rain?
It is supposed to be like hail-like rain from 1 o'clock to midnight in the New York area.
Really? It looks pretty nice. I mean, I'm right across the river here in New Jersey. It looks pretty nice out to me.
I'm first of all, I'm 30 minutes from Citi Field. You're not. I'm already getting tornado watch alerts.
Oof. Okay. Well, let's go Mark Vientos if they play that game. Plus 425, 4 home runs in his last 5 games. The guy is hitting absolute nukes, missiles, like 430-foot shots, like it's nothing. If they don't play that game, I will pivot. And I will go for another Baltimore Oriole here. I'll go Adley Rutschman, who's got 6 home runs and 100 ABs against lefties this year. The switch hitting catcher mashes against lefties. Give me Rutschman, and I don't know his odds off the top of my head because I was really hoping that I had no idea that there could be a tornado at Citi Field today. Rutschman's plus 525. So if the Mets don't play, if you want to wait until 12:45, 1 o'clock before you place this bet, if you like our home run hitters, if the Mets aren't playing, I would pivot and I'll go 2 Orioles. Santander I gave out. Rutschman also plus 525. I think Heaney gets blasted.
2 Orioles.
I think Heaney gets blasted.
All right. Listen, that Oriole lineup is like a savage garden. Truly, Adley, deeply, too.
I mean, I can't even keep up with these.
You get that one?
No.
Kenny, do you get it?
Yeah, kind of. I love it because it's off the rip. It doesn't have to be great as long as it's goofy and funny because it's Sean. It doesn't have to be fantastic because it's off the rip.
We give Sean a pass. He doesn't have to be funny.
Does anybody get it? Where's Amir? Did anybody get that one? The Oriole lineup is like the savage garden. Truly, Adley, deeply, too. Dan got it. All right, Pat, you did not get it.
Sean doesn't have to be funny. He doesn't have to make good puns. He doesn't have to know football. He doesn't have to make good lists. My lists are the best lists. They're not even his. Don't even compare. I got better lists than him. His puns are bad, but hey, it's Sean. So
there was a '90s band called Savage Garden, and their hit song was "Truly, Madly, Deeply."
Okay,
well, Pat's having a Mario moment.
You're throwing out. I am. You're throwing out 30-year-old songs. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Give us another tennis bet, loser. I
will.
Jeez.
I will.
Jeez.
Well, what's the point of BetQL? Why do people listen? Do they want to make money? Would you rather me give a bet out on a sport that I don't religiously watch, or would you rather me give out a bet on a sport that I religiously watch?
Well, clearly we learned today you don't religiously watch football. Sam Darnold starting for the Vikings. Ugh. All right. 1 more hour to play with. Another hot take, hot cake. I got some thoughts on the Warriors next. Sean Morash, the always right, the always wrong Pat Boyle, continuing next.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
seconds.
And Pat Boyle.
That's probably why I'm not a GM in the NFL, but if I was, I would probably take a huge swing on Michael Penix.
Turning your faith into fortune.
Few things in the gambling world I can't wait to bet more than the Jets under right now.
While serving up hot cakes and hot takes.
If Chet Holmgren was on that team, he's probably putting up better numbers than Wemby.
It's BetQL 5-Star Weekend, presented by BetMGM.
It's BetQL's 5-Star Weekend, presented by BetMGM. Sean Morash, Pat Boyle, one more hour to play with here on this beautiful, beautiful Sunday, depending on where you are. It could get ugly with weather as well. Couple news and notes here. So to set up the final hour, we're going to do hot takes and hot cakes coming up in a couple minutes. Pat, do you have like a bet that has to be released in the next 30 seconds, or we have some time to play with you?
Nope. No, we got some time.
Okay. So coming up next segment, GTFO or Oh Yeah. And of course, to end the show, our best bets of the day, Sunday Scaries, Beefcake, give a dog a bone, and some degenerate bets as well. But news and notes cleaning up the world of sports right now. Since we've come on the air, the Detroit Pistons, who got rid of Monty Williams, who's going to make a fortune from here to Kingdom Come, have hired J.B. Bickerstaff. Look, this is one of those spots with the Pistons where it is impossible, and I say this dearly as a talk show host, impossible for me to give true input on whether I think a head coach for the Pistons will be a good hire or not. They are clearly still totally disappointing, going back to the drafting of Cade Cunningham, on figuring out how to right this ship. Could J.B. Bickerstaff work out with this kind of young roster? I suppose. Could J.B. Bickerstaff be gone in 2 years, a year and a half? Also very much on the table. But Monty Williams, they're paying a ton of money to. J.B. Bickerstaff, an upgrade from Monty Williams? Probably not. But something was clearly broken there. Pat, any thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's become clear that J.B. Bickerstaff is now viewed as a floor raiser for NBA teams and not necessarily a coach that can take a team to the next level. I mean, when he coached, he coached those 2 years in Memphis, they went 15-48 in his first season and then 33 and 49 in his next year. And then they moved on and he got hired by Cleveland. But, just in one year to the next, an 18-win improvement. He took over the Cleveland Cavaliers. His first full season was 2020, 2021, the COVID year. They went 22-50. Next year, they double their win total to 44. Then they get to 51 wins. So in 3 years, he went from 22 wins to 51. So it's clear that he is great at building culture, that he is great at demanding the most out of his players, that he raises the floor of a team. So that is what you're hoping he can do with the Detroit Pistons. And he's proven it before that he can do it. So I do like the hire there. And that's a tough spot. Obviously, I think Donovan Mitchell didn't want him anymore in Cleveland. And that was kind of, again, we know how important the star player is to a franchise. If Donovan Mitchell says, you know what, I don't think we're going to win a title with JB as the coach, then there you go. That's why they've hired Kenny Atkinson, who, by the way, got a raw deal at your Brooklyn Nets. So I'm happy to see Kenny back in the head coaching spot. And I think this works out for Detroit. I think they finally climb themselves out of the basement here over the next 3 years. And we're looking at a team that's 30-35 wins and getting themselves back to respectability.
All right. Now, as far as if you are going to bet the Yankees today or for the foreseeable future, we know they've been in a swoon, felt like they had turned some things around, and they got horrible news yesterday as Juan Soto had gotten scratched from the lineup. He will not be in the lineup again today for Toronto. Juan Soto's met the media or the pool reporters saying he may get an MRI or a CAT scan on his right hand tomorrow. He felt pain and weakness while swinging in batting practice yesterday. He does say it feels better today, though. The Yankees actually haven't posted their lineup yet, but the belief is if he's going to get an MRI or CAT scan, they're not going to put him in a lineup today. That would be my thought. So just keep an eye on Yankees again, dealing with a little bit of a Juan Soto situation. Guy went from playing every day to now 2 minor little blips here for the Yankees. Something to worry about? I don't know. Also, it appears like the Knicks have already guaranteed they will not finish higher than third in the Eastern Conference next year. Now, let's get to some hot cakes and hot takes.
Morning, people. Boy, do I need some hot takes and hot cakes. Pat Boyle and Sean Morash, give it to them.
All right. By the way, if you're on your way into work and want to keep listening to us after you park your car with the Odyssey app and Odyssey.com, you can just download the app or visit Odyssey.com, search BetQL, and click on our show. Favorite us to make it easier for you. Download the Odyssey app to get started. All right, Pat. You're going to give us some kind of soccer and some tennis stuff. I don't know who Sprinkle Taylor Fritz is. That seems like a weird name. We're going to get to that in a second. But you know what? Why don't we get to that now? Because I don't know what the heck I'm reading here. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, first of all, so I was talking about Wimbledon, cheerio, which starts tomorrow. The tennis, the most iconic major in the sport. So it's on the grass. I'm gonna be honest.
That's the one they win the plate. Is that the one they win like the big plate?
Well, if you come in second, you get the big plate. You come in first, you win the big gold trophy.
Oh, okay.
So Alcaraz won it. Yeah, you come in second, you get like a big silver plate.
So if you won that plate, is it one of those things you just hang on your wall, or we're like kind of like if you get a charcuterie board with your like name on it, would you like serve Thanksgiving dinner on that? Like, could you put the turkey pieces on that silver plate?
I don't know if you would. I don't think you want to risk scratching it or damaging it in any way, even though it's probably made of some nice, pretty titanium steel. I think you'd probably rather just hang it up in your trophy case for people to look at and say, "Oh wow, yeah, you were that close."
But isn't it more of a But isn't it more of a talking piece if you break it out where like suddenly there's some cakes on it?
Well, I mean, we see that with the Stanley Cup. Or was it Roberto Luongo had some nice pasta out of the Stanley Cup? I don't think anything is treated like the Stanley Cup is treated, where you drink out of it, you eat out of it. So I don't know. I'm sure you could. Man, who knows? If I ever come in second in Wimbledon, Sean, I'll break it out at Thanksgiving.
All right. So tell us who Sprinkle Taylor Fritz is.
Yes, well, I'm sprinkling. I'm sprinkling Taylor Fritz. I'm putting a couple of bucks on Taylor Fritz to win. Yes. I'm sprinkling a couple of bucks on Taylor Fritz to win Wimbledon here. To be honest, it's a tough draw to really I'm not going to put any real money on an outright future in terms of who's going to win it. I gave you before. I'm betting Djokovic to win his quarter at plus 100. I'll probably put a unit down on that. And then maybe $5 or $10 on Tommy Paul to win the quarter that Alcaraz is in, because I could see him upsetting him. But let's be honest. This tournament is probably going to be in the semifinals. It's probably going to be Jannik Sinner versus Alcaraz, another epic battle. And those guys always end up playing 4 or 5 sets. So I really can't tell you who's going to win that match. And I can't with good nature, with my actual money, tell you who I think is going to win Wimbledon, because those guys kind of cancel each other out. Sinner beat him at Wimbledon the last time they played. And again, it seems like they're destined to play a 5-set or go the distance every time they do play. I told you I think Djokovic is going to win his quarter. I'm not as confident that he wins Wimbledon, and he's got the third highest odds. I'd probably like somewhere in the range of plus 500. So we're going to put a couple bucks on Taylor Fritz to win Wimbledon, which is plus 5,000 right now if you shop around. I think he's got a legit chance. He went to the quarterfinals a couple of years ago, and if he didn't choke against a injured Rafa Nadal, he would have been in the semifinals and was going up against Nick Kyrgios. Probably would have had a chance to get to a Wimbledon final. So he has been close to being there before, and you look at his draw, he's got a very manageable draw here, Shawnee, because he's going to get an Aussie in the first round, Chris O'Connell, who he should absolutely beat. Second round, he's either going to get an old Kei Nishikori or an Arthur Rinderknecht. And I'm just throwing out names, not that anybody knows who these guys are. Anyway, I expect Fritz to comfortably get to the third round. At that point, the highest seed player he's going to face is a Chilean, Alejandro Tabilo, who's got a decent serve. They've played before. Fritz has beaten him. He should absolutely get to the round of 16. That is where things get tricky, because then at that point, he's probably going to see either the 4 seed Alex Zverev or the 28 seed Jack Draper. I'm hoping that those guys, whoever wins that battle, if it gets to it, Zverev's best surface is clay. I think Fritz has a good head-to-head against him. And again, guy went to the quarterfinals in Wimbledon before. So I think if he gets to the quarterfinal matchup, which then he would be playing, I had it pulled up here one moment ago. If he gets past Zverev, his quarterfinal matchup would be the highest seed is Rublev. Tsitsipas is both in there, guys that are having not great years, guys he can absolutely beat. He probably will beat on grass. So at that point, he gets to the semifinals. He could be playing Djokovic. He could be playing somebody else. I think it's worth it. At plus 5,000, I think he should have the 5th to the 6th highest odds, and he's down there around 8 or 9. And again, plus 5,000 for a guy that's been to the quarterfinals before. that has been to a couple of Grand Slam quarterfinals. He's played really, really well on the grass this year. He just won the tournament before Wimbledon a couple of days ago. So, yeah, Taylor Fritz plus 5,000. It's worth $5 for me. And then, I got a little soccer parlay for you. So this is going to take some patience because you got a game.
Okay.
The second leg is tomorrow. And rather than just giving you, an over or under, it's something that I'm not necessarily confident in. Both of these two legs, I think, hit. And obviously, I think you think that all the time when you're placing a parlay. But I am showing sometimes it's okay to have patience as a bettor, and it's okay. It's warranted. It's great to have patience where you can have a bet that spans 2 days, and you don't need that instant gratification of, I need to see this bet hit today. I need that money in my account today. I want to win the $50 today or the $100 today. I think it shows discipline as a bettor, and I think it's a good exercise that you can place a parlay across 2, maybe even 3 days and think, you know what, I'm confident that this hits, and I know the payoff is going to be worth it. So you got a game today. Round of 16 continues. Spain versus Georgia. I don't think Georgia scores a goal. I don't. Spain has not given up a goal yet. The 3 group stage games, 3 shutouts for them. And
Kirby Smart coaching them?
Who?
Kirby Smart?
Kirby Smart? No, it's the country, Georgia. So I don't think Kirby's Smart. That's a good quip though there, Shawnee. I just think Spain's defense is incredible. So, Georgia to get shut out is minus 170. So I'm going to put that as the first leg. And then the second leg is, again, very, very confident. France or tie. If you go to BetMGM, you go to double chance. You can go France or tie. This basically means they don't lose in 90 minutes. They could lose in extra time. The game could go to extra time. But as long as France does not lose in the first 90 minutes against Belgium, then that hits. So Georgia to not score a goal, under 0.5 goals, and France or tie versus Belgium. Those 2 legs, that's minus 118 on BetMGM. So you got Patty Tennis. You got Patty Football. I know we got Nick Football, Nick Costos, who likes to give out some soccer bets. So I got a little parlay for you there.
All right, real quickly, Euro-related. Better breakfast, Belgium waffle, French toast.
French toast.
Oh, I go Belgian waffle. I like those divots.
I'm not a waffle guy. I'd either go pancakes or French toast before I go waffles. I don't know what it is.
Wow.
I don't like the crispy squareness of a waffle.
Oh, I like the crispy squareness, which is ironic because that's basically your betting future. Crispy squareness. Okay. Here's my hot take and hot cake. It seems as if the end truly is near here for Klay Thompson and the Warriors. By all accounts, they are parting ways. Klay Thompson, who, look, completely broken down, has not been the same since that knee injury in the Raptors finals. But he's not going to be a splash brother anymore. I'm here to tell you, and I don't think it is a hot take, but I guess it is a hot take. If I were to pick one right now, who is more likely to win one more championship for the rest of their career, I'm taking Klay Thompson over Steph Curry. The Warriors have flirted with the idea of bringing Paul George in. Remember, they brought in Chris Paul last year. It feels like the Warriors are just going to do this thing where they just keep trying to swing on whatever they can swing on to try to capture anything at the end with Steph Curry. And ultimately, it feels like Steph Curry will be a lifetime Warrior. He has won more than enough. He is the iconic player for that franchise. I don't think he's ever leaving. Klay Thompson can still provide, albeit slower, good defense. I mean, he was a great defender with Golden State during his heyday. Can still knock down a shot or two, hit the big 3 off the bench. I don't think he'll ever be primarily a second player. And I say that to say, there's a little Ray Allen heat in Klay Thompson wherever he ends up, where if he is not counted on to be one of the primary weapons, but he still can provide defense and a timely 3-pointer, and also kind of has his pick of a litter, there will be a competing team that seeks a Klay Thompson, and he brings some of that championship pedigree to a locker room. I don't think it's outrageous. It may strike people as baffling. Klay Thompson, better chance to win a title again the rest of his career than Steph Curry by virtue of Klay leaving Golden State and Steph Curry staying. Pat Boyle.
Okay, what team would he have to go to?
Miami. Let's call it like that. If you put him, again, it depends on salary. Let's just, insert player here. Pick a Western Conference contender. Denver, if Klay Thompson wanted to go play for the Denver Nuggets, something like that could fit. Could Klay Thompson end up Jeez, another weapon on Milwaukee, something like that. Yeah, I think better chance here for Klay Thompson. Now, if he goes and some reason gets an ungodly contract from the Chicago Bulls, of course this wouldn't reign supreme, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Let me ask you this.
All right.
As a side,
We got
and,
60 seconds, so
we were talking about Paul George. I know that the teams that he was going to he was obviously going to talk with the Clippers about a possible extension, the 76ers and the Magic. Is there any chance the Warriors can sign Paul George? Or are they screwed right now with their salary cap and they're basically on the second apron already?
They're interested in him, so clearly there's a chance. But I still don't think it'll be enough. I think the Golden State thing is dead.
Wow. Steph Curry, Paul George, Draymond, everybody else that they have. You don't think that's possible?
Again, I don't trust Paul George to stay healthy. I think you're dead there. So, and I hate to say that. I know you were at a wake the other day. All right, when we come back, GTFO or oh yeah, which feels like the show today. BetQL's 5-Star Weekend continues next.
Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
BetQL's 5-star weekend presented by BetMGM. All right, sorry. I was reading some stuff we're about to do, and I was very confused, and now I see what's going on. GTFO or Oh Yeah is about to come your way. If you've been listening to the show all day on the Odyssey app, we thank you. You can watch us on Twitch, all 6 eyes that are with us, and have a great, great morning. Coming up in the next segment, we will, of course, have your best bets of the day. Sunday scaries. Patty's got a beef bet. I wonder what he's beefing about. I wonder. Okay, what could he be beefing about on June 30th? All right. Either way, let's Dahmer this up. It's GTFO or Oh Yeah. Let's have at it.
It's now time for GTFO or Oh Yeah.
All right, you know the name of the game. We read a statement. We say GTFO or Oh Yeah. Klay Thompson will part ways with the Warriors. GTFO or Oh Yeah.
Oh yeah, like this is a
Oh,
given. And even
Oh, yeah.
even before yesterday, I would have said, oh yeah. And now we're getting the Woj, the Woj report that that it's they're expecting to part ways with him. They're not signing him. He wants more money than he should be getting. I mean, Klay Thompson. Let's be honest. At this point, he's washed up. It's like let's be real. He got benched numerous times throughout the year. Didn't do anything in the postseason for them when they had it. In the playing game when they had a chance to hit some big shots. He's past his prime. He's cool. Like, you want to be a Warrior for forever? Like, take a pay cut, dude. Like, help out your team here. He wants $20+ million a year. He's not getting that from Golden State. So, if he ends up going to the Lakers, we saw LeBron willing to take a pay cut if it's for a veteran player that can make an impact, like a James Harden, like a Klay Thompson. If I'm LeBron, I'd rather have Klay Thompson and hope that, hey, you know what? He's not going to have the athleticism or the bounce that he used to have, but if he still shot 39% from deep last year, if he can give them 40% from deep and just be a catch and shoot guy, that's what the Lakers need. They need a player that can shoot the 3 ball because they were atrocious from beyond the perimeter last year.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say, oh yeah, I think he ends up going to the Lakers, but I would not be surprised if the Nuggets are the other team.
Well, that walks us right into our next statement. DeMar DeRozan signs with the Lakers on a mid-level exception. I think DeRozan is who they sign, and it won't be Klay Thompson because I think Klay Thompson, as much as he has, the pedigree, his dad, LA, the whole thing, I think ultimately he's going to go where I think an opportunity more provides him another championship, and I don't think the Lakers are that. But DeMar DeRozan, I think it'll be a very uninspiring Laker maneuver here. I'm oh yeah on this.
GTFO. I don't think this helps either party. One, I don't think DeMar DeRozan is going to take a mid-level exception. And two, I don't think it benefits.
I think dude.
I don't think it behooves the Lakers to sign another guy that can't shoot a 3 but can hit a mid-range. Like, they have that. They have plenty of that already.
They're LeBron. A mess. They're a poorly run team. They're a mess.
Okay, but I think they'd rather sign Klay Thompson, a guy that can shoot a 3, than DeMar DeRozan, another guy that can shoot a mid-range, can't shoot a 3, is getting older, doesn't play that great of defense anymore, is 34 years old, and I don't think he's going to take a mid-level exception. I think he knows that he can get – I don't even know what is the mid-level exception, but I think DeMar DeRozan can probably get $20-25 million from some other team that is a near playoff contender. I don't think the Lakers are going to do that. But then again, like you said, they are a very poorly run organization, so maybe it wouldn't shock me. I'm still going to go GTFO.
Yeah. Kissed from a DeRozan in. All right. Statement number 3. The 76ers will make the Eastern Conference Finals with Paul George, Pat Boyle. I'm going to newsflash for everybody. Pat Boyle is going to say GTFO because it can only be the Knicks and Celtics. But Pat will let you answer.
Absolutely. I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth. GTFO. The Sixers are still not that good of a team because, as you told me, Paul George has not been available, has not been healthy more often than he has been here over the last 5 years. Playoff P is gone. The same thing with Joel Embiid. As great as he is, it's always going to be something. It's going to be the knee, or it's going to be the other knee, or it's going to be something in the leg that he gets hurt and then he's not 100% for in the playoffs. And Tyrese Maxey can only do so much, and Philadelphia still has far too many holes on this team, right? I mean, they're finally getting rid of Tobias Harris, but they still don't have many more impact players on that roster, whereas the Knicks are loaded. The Knicks are deep. The Knicks are legit. The Knicks have dudes, as our buddy Tommy Lugauer says. They have dogs, and they're going to do damage They absolutely are. They're only going to get better than they were last year. Even if Hartenstein comes back or not, he's not that exceptional of a player. Let's be honest. They've added Mikal Bridges. They're going to have the number one defense in the NBA, and they have their team chemistry is through the roof. Julius Randle's coming back. And for any Julius Randle hater, I just want to ask you, where are you getting 25, 10, and 5 from elsewhere? Where else are you getting a two-time All-Star in the last 3 years, an All-NBA player? Where are you getting that? So the Knicks need Julius Randle. He's back. The Knicks are back. They're going to the conference finals, Knicks, Celtics, and then the Knicks will go to the NBA finals. And, I'll be here telling you I told you so next summer.
All right, it's GTFO, but it's because you already have the Celtics and Bucks who should be healthy waiting there. And, of course, no disrespect, but the Indiana Pacers just made an Eastern Conference final. You can't discount them either. There's too many teams there for the Sixers to climb over. They're going to be right in that 5 to 6 range with the New York Knicks, and you figure it out from there. All right, GTFO or oh yeah. One that I, frankly, am stunned that's here, but we'll have fun with it. One of Usain Bolt's world records, the 100 or 200 meter dash, will be broken in this Olympics. Bolt's records are 9.58 seconds in the 100 and 19.19 seconds in the 200. Noah Lyles broke a 28-year-old U.S. Olympic trial record in the 200 with a 19.53 second run on yesterday. So I wouldn't know Noah Lyles if he fell on me. Obviously, I remember the summer of Usain Bolt. The Olympics we're going to get into because we're degenerates anyway when they do start. Will it be broken? Look, 19.53 is not 19.19, so good for Noah. I'm going to say no. Usain Bolt's GTFO, his records stay here.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you as much as I'd like to for the sake of the argument. Like you said, Noah Lyles broke a U.S. Olympic trial record, and he still basically ran a half a second slower than Usain Bolt. I don't know if these records will – I'm sure they might be broken at one point, but I don't think in the foreseeable future. And I think if we had somebody that legitimately was a threat to break his records, like we'd be hearing about them, right? Like we hear about Simone Biles. We hear about Katie Ledecky for U.S. swimming. We'd be hearing about the next Usain Bolt if we really had them. I'm going to agree. GTFO, Bolt's records ain't going down.
All right, so we're out of them on the sheet, so I'm going to fly by the seat of our pants here for the sake of the segment. I'm going to have some fun. All right, Pat? GTFO or oh yeah? At any point in his life, Joe Biden had a 6 handicap.
GTFO.
Yeah.
Not a shot. Not a shot. Now, Trump, GTFO, oh yeah, Donald Trump won 2 club championships, not the senior, the actual club championship.
Legitimately, GTFO. GTFO. Unless it was just him and one older guy that were in that club championship range. All right. GTFO or oh yeah. Hard Knocks off season with the New York Giants begins on Tuesday, 4-part series. Will there be anything interesting that comes out of the show, GTFO or oh yeah?
I'm going to say oh yeah. Or at least I hope, right? Because then it's like it's just another waste of an hour a week that I'll probably stop watching 2 weeks in.
You're probably
like, are we going to find out what happened with Saquon Barkley? That's the thing most people want to know. And they threw a little clip in on the trailer, Shawnee.
In the
I know
trailer.
You heard that.
Yep. Oh, yeah. In the trailer, it was there.
Do you think we get the actual conversation that GM Joe Shane had with Saquon Barkley and why Saquon didn't give the Giants a chance? Or if he did, do you think we get that?
I think we get something. I look, they're going to have to give some for 4 episodes. You can't cut everything out. You know what I mean? You got to give the audience something. So I think the Giants are going to be in pick and choose mode. And frankly, Saquon Barkley is no longer a Giant. So that I think will be interesting because who cares? If Saquon Barkley, told the Giants one thing and tell them another, if it makes Saquon look bad, it makes the Giants probably look fine. So I think that you're probably right. I think, yes, you do get something interesting. It probably is Saquon Barkley related. If you find Brian Burns and his acquisition interesting, then you're going to get that. All right. This is a big one for me. GTFO or oh yeah. Last night, Hawk Tua girl on the stage with Zach Bryan in Tennessee. Are we a little tired of Hawk Tua girl already? GTFO or oh yeah?
Probably oh yeah. It's not even her. It's just what social media does. It chews up trends and memes and things, and it spits them out in the span of 3 days. Like, it's crazy. If you miss Twitter over a 3-day span, You had no idea what Hawk Tuah girl is, and now you're probably already bored of it. You're probably already sick of it.
Imagine being on a cruise ship and you come back, you're like, well, what is this? Who's this girl on stage with Zach Bryan?
Now, what's going to happen to her? Does she now? Apparently, I don't know if this is true because you can't really believe anything you see on social media. I heard she lost her job. I think I saw a tweet. She was a preschool teacher and got fired because of that.
Wow, I didn't see that. I also, to be honest, I wasn't over Oilers girl yet. So I don't like that all of a sudden now I had to just get over Oilers girl and get Hawk Tuah girl in here.
I was over Oilers girl when she did a video in the shower acting like she's been rubbing elbows with NHL players and like NHL media for weeks. You know, she had the whole thing like, I understand you get a bunch of people that maybe hate on. I don't know with the percentage of people that loved it versus the percentage of haters there were. It had to be 95-5. But, you know, again, you get a couple of 100 haters that are throwing some hate your way. Oh, you're only famous because, you know, you lifted up your shirt or whatnot. And then she decides to hit back on that, like, screw you. Like, I'm going to keep doing what I do. And then she gets a Playboy shoot out of it. But then, like, she makes a video when she's in the shower and she's like, oh, like, I saw my friend Biz, like, Biz, you know, Biz and Ed and Oilers in 7. And make sure you go check out my play. Like, I'm over it at that point. I'm over her. Hawk Tuah girl, it's just unfortunate what happened to her because she was a product of the social media machine that took her and ran with millions of memes. Like she didn't do anything. What did she do? Like she showed up to the Zach Bryan concert. Did she get on the stage and do a Hawk Tuah again? Or
I'm going to say this, man. I got 2 young daughters. The idea that I imagine being one of these girls, the Oilers girl or the Hawk Tuah girl, imagine being their father scrolling Twitter one day. I have like 16 years left on social media, then I got to bow out because I think that is like walk into a cold lake and never return territory. If that's my kid on social media like that, that is rough. That is rough. So the way that this trend has gone, I am good on that. All right. GTFO or oh yeah. Does the U.S. need to fire Greg Berhalter after the loss to Panama? Let me just start by saying this because I'm going to please our audience here. I'm sorry, our staff here. Who is Greg Berhalter? And the Olympics didn't start yet. When did we lose to Panama?
He's the head coach of the U.S. men's national soccer team and Copa America going on right now, which we're hosting.
I thought the Euros were going on.
Okay. Sean, we've done this. I think we did this bit a couple weeks
I know that the U.S. is not in the Euros because they're not a European country. I know we did that. But there's a North American one that goes on. I know I've heard of Copa.
It's a South American tournament that because there's only 10 countries in South America, they invite a handful of North American / Caribbean countries every, 3 or 4 years that they have that tournament. And it just happened to align with the Euros this year. So you have the South American tournament, which the U.S. got not only invited to, but is hosting this year. Second time I think we've hosted Copa America. And you've got the European Championships going on as well. So, yes, you've got 2 different tournaments. That's how soccer goes sometimes. You got a very short off season. Berhalter is the coach of the U.S. men's soccer team for the last couple of years. Terrible job at the World Cup last time, and a lot of controversy that there was a lot of, that one of the guys, Gio Reyna, one of the players, parents are trying to threaten Greg Berhalter to play him. It got very messy. And then, yes, a very stunning upset losing to Panama now to the point where U.S. now has to basically beat Uruguay or hope that the worst team in that group, Bolivia, gives them the result. Otherwise, the U.S. will not go to the quarterfinals, which will be seen as an embarrassment considering the group. So I think, Greg Berhalter will be fired. He should be fired if they don't get to the knockout stage here. I think this game that's coming up for them, was it tomorrow? I think he's coaching for his job. And even if they win, and who is the other team in that group? It's Panama. If Panama beats up on Bolivia, the tiebreaker's goal difference. I think this one comes to, it doesn't matter how well they play tomorrow. It's just based on results. If they don't get to the knockout stage, if they don't get to the quarterfinals, he's gone. And he should be.
Yeah, I mean, they did have to play a man down after that red card versus Panama, so that was rough. I mean,
that falls on the coach, right? How many times do we get on Mike McCarthy for the Cowboys being one of the most penalized teams in the NFL? It's got to come back to the coach at some point. So you get a player that punches another guy in the back of the head and gets a red card after you go up 1-0. Like that's on you as the coach.
I wasn't looking for logic. I was just looking for you to pat on the back that I even knew they had to play a man down as I just did a little quick research.
GTFO or oh yeah, Shawnee's going to watch more than an hour of Wimbledon over the next 2 weeks.
GTFO. More than an hour, I won't watch more than a minute. Not more than a minute.
Are you kidding me?
I would rather bury my head in a used litter box than watch more than a minute of Wimbledon.
Watch some tennis, bro. It's a great sport. It's a great warrior sport. You're out there on your own. It's so physical.
It's terrible on TV. It's a terrible TV sport. It's a terrible TV sport.
Really
it
not.
Just
The
is
sound, it's very good ASMR. The sound of the racket hitting the ball, the grunting. I don't know what to tell you. We got to go to break.
Amir, great punishment. All right, when we come back. BetQL's 5-star weekend.
BetQL 5-Star Weekend will be back on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM. Welcome back to BetQL 5-Star Weekend on the BetQL Network. Presented by BetMGM.
Fun show today, BetQL's 5-Star Weekend. Thank you to our audience who watches every single weekend on Twitch, or maybe you're a new viewer, twitch.tv/BetQL. Those who listen on all of our great affiliates, the bet across the country, and of course, free on the Odyssey app. I'm Sean Morash. He's Patty No Sources Boyle, and we have had a fun weekend here on BetQL. Now, we like having fun at the end of the show, giving out some best bets. We do some degenerate stuff. We do some, I give you a big parlay that is sure not to hit. And of course, Pat gives you a beef bet. So it's degeneration time. Let's give some degeneration bets.
I might be a year older. I might be a little grayer. But at the end of the day, I'm still a degenerate.
All right, D-Gen Bets is here, and I got to tell you, we have a little show sheet. That's how we go off of. That's how we communicate with each other. And Pat has a degeneration bet where I haven't heard of the two people involved in it. So, Pat, give it away.
Well, yeah, it's a tennis bet. You know, for you, Shawnee, who said you're not going to watch a single minute of Wimbledon, which is shocking in of its own. The ASMR that it delivers just by the racket hitting the ball, the visual effects. I mean, tennis is
most Americans won't watch a single minute of Wimbledon, right?
That's not true at all. We have Amir literally the producer of this show is a tennis guy. He's going to watch plenty of Wimbledon. I'm sure Kenny will tune into some.
By the way, I'm great. I'm not telling you not to like tennis, not to like Wimbledon. The majority of American citizens will not watch a minute of Wimbledon. That is a fact.
Really? So why does ESPN keep running it back every year if nobody's watching it? Why would they spend all that money for the TV rights?
Did I say nobody? Did I say nobody, Patty?
You just said the majority of Americans are not going to watch it.
Majority.
What is Wimbledon competing with? It's usually over by 3 p.m. most days. So it's a summer afternoon from 6 a.m. to 3 p.m. most days that is competing with what? Baseball?
Okay. Cool, man.
We're going to check the TV ratings next week for the first week of Wimbledon, and then we're going to check it again.
Average audience, 3.2 million Americans last year watched Wimbledon. Do you know how many millions of Americans live in America?
That's more people that watch Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese. Okay,
but that's not the majority. If 3.2 million Americans watch Wimbledon, there's like 100 million Americans. My point was the majority of Americans won't watch Wimbledon.
You think 100 million Americans? You think we have 100 million population?
How many people live in America?
Like 325 million.
Live in America. So I was off by 200 million.
Yeah,
333 million. So that means if we're going off last year's Wimbledon, 300 million people did not watch Wimbledon and 3 million did. So again, tell me where I'm crazy where I said the majority of Americans will not watch Wimbledon.
Okay, the majority of Americans don't watch the Super Bowl then.
Okay. Fine, I wouldn't disagree with you.
You know, you're on my last nerve today. I just want you to know that. Can I give out my bet?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've given you a couple futures bets here for Wimbledon. Djokovic to win his quarter at plus 100. Couple bucks on Taylor Fritz to win the whole tournament at plus 5,000. And then Tommy Paul, $5 or $10. You know, him plus 650 to win the quarter that includes Carlos Alcaraz. So that would mean beating Carlos Alcaraz in the quarterfinals if he gets there. So I'm going to give you a match that is that's coming up tomorrow. First day of Wimbledon is tomorrow, and I like this bet. I'm obviously going to be placing this bet. It's not a D-Gen bet for me. This is one of my favorite plays for tomorrow, the first day of Wimbledon. But for many of you, it will be, and that is we've got first round matchup: Lorenzo Sonego from Italy versus Mariano Navone from Argentina, and I just think these odds are ridiculous. I think these odds are way too high. So in a best of 5 match in the Grand Slam, you obviously have to win 3 sets to win it. Navone, just to win one set, to not get shut out, is plus 105 on BetMGM. That is what I will be betting. I think he can win the match, but I think he absolutely wins one set. He's a clay court player that has only played 3 grass matches in his life. 2 of them this year in the run-up to Wimbledon. He got beat pretty handily in both. Won by a guy who is not very good, but has grass court experience. The main thing is with me, if you don't, again, you're a casual tennis fan. Let's compare this to any quarterback that chokes, that is overrated, any basketball team that is overrated, that can lose to some of the worst basketball teams on any given day, that is Lorenzo Sonego, Shawnee. He can lose to anybody on any given day. He plays down to his competition. So the fact that he is minus 2,000 on the money line on BetMGM, I think this is a joke. I don't think even if Navone has got many grass court experience, I think he can win a set, let alone the match, because I think Sonego's a stiff, and I think he plays down to his competition. So give me Navone to win one set at plus 105. I hate this guy. I hate him so much.
Oh, we're done.
Here I am giving out valuable betting insight and valuable betting bets, good value bets that I think are going to win, that I'm going to be putting my money on. And that's what we're doing for North America right now. We're educating them and we're giving them good bets that we think is going to win, and you're falling asleep. Just because I don't like tennis, I'd rather bet on... You placed a bet earlier this year on cricket.
Yeah, and by the way, here's my DGen bet for the day. Caitlin Clark plus 800 to score the first basket today versus Phoenix. Two bad teams. This is going to be a Caitlin Clark showdown. I bet her over on points in this spot. Plus 800 first basket in a WNBA game. Caitlin Clark. How do you like them apples, Pat?
Congrats. Yeah, that's a bet that I hope you lose in the first 5 seconds. Just kidding. I hope you win, and I hope anybody that tails you wins, but...
Yeah. My Navone. I have a knack for betting tennis. My Navone.
Navone. Are you doing my Sharona?
Yeah, done by the knack.
How about that?
I have a knack for betting. All right. All right, let's get to the Sunday Scary.
The weekend is almost over, but there's still time to place just one more bet. Don't panic. There's still time to win it all back. It's time for the Sunday Scaries.
All right, 19-1, 5 legs. Let's go. Up in Toronto today, Kevin Gossman, Garrett Cole, Yankees, Jays, under 8 runs. Yankees have been giving up over 8 runs for what feels like every game from here till 2 weeks ago. But I like the game going under here. We call this a bounce back spot for Garrett Cole, who got lit up by the Mets earlier in the week. This is now his 3rd start back. Doesn't mean the Yankees win. I wouldn't touch that side, especially with no Juan Soto. But I think these two pitchers are going to have a little bit of a duel today in Toronto. I'm going under 8 runs, leg number 1. Leg number 2, look, Patrick Corbin, I think, gives you a little something versus the Rays today. The Nats have been spunkily okay as a baseball team this year. I'm going to take the Nats on the money line versus Tampa today. Pick number 2, straight and simple. Pick number 3, Royals in Cleveland. Fun game in the AL Central. Guess what? Seth Lugo, I'm taking him to strike out 4 or more batters. He's been one of the better stories in terms of pitching this year in Major League Baseball. Seth Lugo, 4 or more Ks, leg number 3. Leg number 4, Hunter Green, 6 or more Ks in St. Louis. A nice warm day. Those bats going to be tired. Hunter Green, 6 or more Ks. Now, though, the bats are not going to be tired as I go hypocrisy. I'm also going to take the over 7.5 runs, though. I think Lance Lynn's going to get touched up a little bit by the Cincinnati team. And nonetheless, Hunter Green might be prone to give up a homer or 2 in this spot as well. Over 7.5 runs. So, under 8 runs, Yankees, Jays, Nats, money line versus Tampa. Seth Lugo, 4 or more Ks at home versus Cleveland. Hunter Green, 6 or more Ks in St. Louis. And in that game with Hunter Green, over 7.5 runs. Lance Lynn versus Hunter Green, Cards and Reds, 5 legs, 19-1. Not a single tennis bet to be found there. That's where you go.
Congrats. Congratulations. You feel good?
I feel good, man. I can't wait to hear what your beef bet's going to be. Knicks to win the Eastern Conference. Bet it
now. No, you know what? Having watched, having to watch the Yankees every day, seeing the slop that they have put forth here over the last 2 weeks, it's been embarrassing. It's been pathetic from a team that made winning look so effortless, and now it is so impossible for them. And a couple of injuries, and this team has all of a sudden no depth. They can't score runs outside of Aaron Judge and Juan Soto. The starting pitchers are getting rocked left and right. Luis Gil was a Cy Young candidate. Now he's getting his nipples blown off his body every time he steps on the mound.
Oh!
I can say that. There's no problem with that. No problem with that. So, yeah, watching the Yankees, go from the best team in baseball to a team that is giving up, like you said, they've given up 82 runs in their last 10 games. They stink. So if I'm going to have to watch them again today, I'm at least going to try to make some quiche off of it. Boyle's beef bad. I got beef with the Yanks. Hit it.
Nah.
Pat Boyle's Beef Bet of the Week. I'm angry. I'm ready. I need to bet. It's Pat Boyle's Beef Bet of the Week on the Bet.
Yeah, by the way, I got beef with Aaron Boone. How do we still don't have a lineup out here. The game's that we're an hour and a half away from the game. Have you seen a Yankee lineup?
They might forfeit. No, they might forfeit.
Anyway, the Blue Jays have terrorized them so far in this series. They've scored 9 runs in 2 out of 3 games. They crushed them. The Yankees exploded for 16 runs. I think that was more of a fluke than anything. A lineup that is most likely, and that's basically all the reporting that we've gotten, is that Juan Soto will not play today. Sean, you touched on it, the bruised right hand yesterday. So a lineup that is already weak without Giancarlo Stanton, that has been struggling outside of Aaron Judge, is now missing Juan Soto. Alex Verdugo's been in a slump. The Yankees are very top-heavy right now, and if Aaron Judge doesn't hit 2 home runs or drive in 5 runs, they're not winning this game today. They're not. And Garrett Cole, you think it's a big bounce back. He still has a lot of work to do here. He's going to be fine. I believe in Garrett Cole. He's the reigning Cy Young Award winner. He's been one of the best pitchers in baseball for the last 4 years. But he could not throw a fastball to save his life last start against the Mets. They lit him up. This Blue Jays lineup does well against him. Vladdy. Yeah, the Mets are a daddy. Go get Vladdy. Give me the Blue Jays to win, plus 105. I think the Yanks lose again. I got beef with them. I got beef watching this team play so terribly, and I'm going to take the Blue Jays and try to profit off it.
All right, thanks to Kenny. Thanks to Amir. Thanks to Dan Turner. Thanks to Tyler. Pat, thanks to you. We'll see you next week. Also, Jake Gensel just got traded to the Tampa Bay Lightning. It's BetQL's 5-star weekend. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, everybody.
You've been listening to the BetQL Network, presented by BetMGM. If you missed any of the shows, listen back anytime on the new and improved Odyssey app.